Ladies, gentlemen, it is Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific time. What does that mean? That means the sun went down, but it also means that it's Wayfarers. Episode 18 had some twists and turns and some fancy moves, a spiraling staircase, and Carl stumbled upon another very nice chef in the Dark Tower. I'm joined by Mendax, the nice rogue. I'm joined by Nigel, the bold wizard, Carl the Kenku, the Birdbarian, and Apoptosis 808, the best damn dungeon master in the world, with Wayfarers.
Hello once again, everybody. Good to see you all. It's been a couple of weeks since our last session, but I am rearing to go. Might finish out this Dark Tower series. We've been going at this for I think the last 3 sessions now, actually. So this has been a extended dungeon crawl, to say the least. Does anybody want to tackle the recap? How's everybody doing? Pig, you're in a new place. Cobra has moved to a new place as well. Everybody's just moving to new places.
Yeah, man. Green screenless for a little bit. You know, me lights may have broken on the way over, but got some new ones coming soon. So hopefully good for next week. And yeah, I'm just excited to play some D&D, man. It's been a very busy week and a half. Got to put on my robe and wizard hat and, you know, get some magic. Get some magic going.
Hell yeah. Mendax, Nigel, Call, back at it again. How you doing, Ash? How you doing, Neuro?
It's good to have clean and fresh air again. It's been raining up in the Pacific Northwest, and the rain cleanses the foul smoke from all those fires of the parties or whatever the Californians are doing.
All the parties. Oh,
so
man.
I've been able to go running and exercising outside, and it's been glorious and joyous.
You know how us Californians love our gender reveals, and also torching people's homes and countless acres of ecosystems.
Yes, there's an old hymn, I believe, from the Bible. Something about Californians know how to party.
Definitely do. There was a saint who did compose that, for sure.
Yes. Blessed is the Lord.
Praise God in their parties. All right. Well, where did we leave off? Does anybody remember? I mean, I remember, but do you guys remember?
Well, I was just about to sample some of the amazing cooking of the orcs and various fiends of this Dark Tower, and had the pleasure of making the acquaintance of the tower's chef.
Yeah, that's right. You solved in so much the how to actually traverse the stairs. So where we left off was Call had the amulet that allowed for you to actually proceed further up the stairs and not kind of continuously spiral and just continue to walk. Nigel and Mendax have stayed behind currently. You're trying to figure out a way to possibly get them back up there. You entered a large kitchen area, so we can actually even just start there. You can pull up the image 4, I think is what it should be labeled. Let me just look real quick, make sure. But yeah, I think it's image 4. It's the one with the big ol' all the cooking implements everywhere. That would probably be the one. Yeah, that's perfect. That's it. And let's see. Yeah, Mendax and Nigel are just chilling on the stairs right now. There's not a whole lot they can do from their position. Call, you're kind of in the driver's seat at this point. And you have called out to the only other person in the room, or humanoid, I should say, which is like a giant pig who's wearing an apron, is wielding like a cleaver, and has a chef's hat on. And what you surmise is the kitchen of the Dark Tower and their chef, or butcher, as we like to call him, is hard at work. And you called out to him to see if you could buy some of his food, try to make friends with him. And he seemed to respond thinking that you might be the upcoming meal for the day. So we'll have to see how you're able to work your way out of this one. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to clarify before we actually just jump in and get started?
I have a question.
Yes.
Back in my younger days in the Kenku tribe, people who cooked food for others were seen as some of the kindest and most well-wishing of all people, because we all need to eat, and it is a gesture of goodwill to cook for others. But on these adventures and these quests, all I have seen are dangerous, angry, and murderous cooks. Is this how cooks are in the rest of the world?
Just out of game, it's for some reason I've always enjoyed like murderous chefs. I always thought that was such a cool idea. It's a trope that's stuck in my head because they have all of the know-how and all of the implements they need, and chefs, just like you said, normally they're so nice and kind, but I don't know, the evil chefs of the world to me are just they cook out of malice. And they cook not because they want to help other people, but because they want to hack up and burn a bunch of things. So, I don't know. I guess there's something weird in my head. I had a bad experience with a chef, I guess, when I was a kid. And it stuck with me through my D&D storytelling, I suppose.
Well, I hope it can give you some catharsis.
Yeah, there you go. Evil chefs. Yeah, you guys have encountered one other chef before this, and he was also evil.
Yes, I was simply clapping along with this nice gentleman. I thought that maybe we could have a conversation, discuss over a meal. We may have different opinions on things, but if there's a nice stew, you don't kill each other, you have stew.
Well, I will spoil a little bit of the moment. This chef certainly wants to kill you.
Is it just because I'm a bird, or does he kill everyone?
I would say if there's a shortage of food in the Dark Tower, they don't have much of an issue cooking up some orcs that have outlived their usefulness.
Well, I would prefer to attend dinner, but not to be dinner. What can I see in the landscape of the room? I see the map there. There's a big lava pit in the center that's cooking some... Is it cooking a pig?
It is, yes.
I question the ethics of this chef in so many ways. He's a pig, but he's cooking another pig. Anyways, so that's probably a no-go. What does the ceiling of this room look like, can I ask?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just give you kind of the lowdown again of the room. So you moved up the stairs and you approached the doorway. Again, it's... the stairs themselves are only wide enough for one person to fit at a time. And above the doorway and sort of lining lining the door itself, there are these green runes that are all kind of glowing in various fashions. Inside of the room itself, because you did open the door and you did actually talk to the chef a little bit, in so much that you can talk to him. But inside of the room, yeah, it's a fairly large room. We'll say it's like 40 feet by about 30 feet or so. So it's fairly large. Squared, kind of like the rest of the room. And in the far corner, there is a door, kind of being covered up a little bit by my icon, but it's right over there. The rest of the room is very similar to how you see it. It's lined with various ingredients, meat that's being dried, smoked. There's vegetables, there's fruits, there's mushrooms and fungus. The center of the room is a glowing pit of lava with different pans and plates and things like that kind of sitting on the stone that is surrounding the pit cooking. So it seems like that's how this chef goes about it. He's the only other person in the room. To your immediate left when you enter, there's a large pile of dishes that looks like they haven't been done in maybe close to a few months now, in a grimy sink filled with like muddy, dirty water. There's different sort of sacks of flour and things like that, all sorts of different food and implementation. He is standing towards the far corner of the room. If you see that top right table where there's a bunch of just different meats there, he was hacking up. I think I said he turned around, he had a human's head in his hand as he was cutting up one of their captures or something like that, basically. So he definitely doesn't look like he's meaning well. The ceiling of the room is maybe 15 feet above your head by your gauge, 10 to 15 feet or so. There are some support beams that run across it with a little bit of a gap in between the beam itself and the roof. But it's made of stone. The floor is made of stone. The ceiling is made of stone as well.
Okay. Did I close the door behind me when I came in?
Did you?
I don't recall doing that.
Well, then we'll say whatever you would like. How about that? I don't think you specifically said you closed the door, but that's kind of a minor detail that you're in the moment of doing that I will allow you to, one way or the other, go for whatever you'd like. It can be closed or it can be open.
I don't think I would have closed the door if I'm going into a new place and I see a guest.
Okay, so it's open then. No problem.
He
does see you, though, and he is starting to move towards you. So we'll make your next action sort of the start of what you can assume to be combat.
And I did attempt to speak with him, but he didn't respond in a language that I know.
No, he certainly did. If you recall, he said, "Ho ho! The main entree has arrived."
Look, you can't just call me the main entree but not tell me what the appetizer or the second course is.
But of course, the appetizer will be a nice human parfait, and the side course today will be a nice fungus stew.
A fungus stew? That's more of
yes,
a
fungus
savory.
stew.
It's more savory.
He is continuing to move forward.
I would like to sort of veer around the room, kind of to the lower side and toward the right, so maybe we're forming a sort of circle around if he's walking to approach me, and I will continue to speak with him.
Okay, sure. He's not moving super quickly, so you can certainly try to outpace him for a little while. Yeah, you are sort of, I don't know what the best word is, but you're both circling the lava pit in the center.
For the human preparation, how do you season a human? I've never had that before.
Oh, they require very little seasoning. Their meat is so sweet.
Are you going to use that head? Maybe use the brain or something?
Yes, make a nice, how you call it, head cheese.
A head cheese? Now that's something I haven't heard of before. Now, I had a question for you. Why is there a pig being cooked here? Is this not some sort of link to yourself? Whenever I see birds being cooked, it just strikes a chord with me.
This is my brother.
This is your brother? Did you kill your brother?
No. How you say, repurpose dead body.
Someone murdered your brother. I'm sorry, are you holding up all right?
He is going to grab one of the pans and throw it at you. Go ahead and...
I can tell it's a very touchy subject for him.
Make a dexterity save.
Fuck.
That doesn't sound very good.
I rolled a 1. Plus 3 is a 4.
Okay, you fail to dodge out of the way as he picks up a pan fairly quickly and chucks it across the room with surprising strength. He deals 4 damage as it clocks you across the head.
Ouch!
What the eggs that were cooking inside of it kind of fall on the side of your face and burn you a little bit too.
Well, I can tell you're very sensitive about your brother's recent passing, but there's no reason to throw pans about. Hang on, I'm taking this 4 damage. Jeez.
Okay. I am not insulted. I am, I would say, unsalted. I am just simply tenderizing.
You're tenderizing me? Is that it?
Yes, now sit still. We go to step 2.
Can I have just a moment to prepare myself for being made into a meal?
Well, I suppose, yes, get on with it. Make a peace with God or whomever.
Could you turn around, please?
Uh,
I'm not gonna take off my pants in front of you, you fiend.
give me a persuasion.
Nine.
He is not going to turn around. I am already giving you time to prepare yourself, and my patience is thin. I must get the meat on soon.
Oh my goodness. What day is it today? I just remembered something.
Are you actually asking him that question?
Yes.
It is, and he'll look at his arm, like his wrist. It is Thursday.
Oh my goodness. And it's the evening.
Yes.
Oh, I'm terribly late. Did you put those runes on the door there?
No, I don't, I don't know what you're talking about.
Those runes on the door. Whenever I was trying to go up the staircase, I couldn't go without a special item, and those are glowing. It's enchanted, isn't it?
I don't know. Now, please, can we move on to the cooking? He's gonna grab another pan.
I would like to put both hands on my scythe and make a prayer to whatever gods or goddesses may or may not be the case. And I would like to look down and then in supplication look up above me. And then I would like to use my once per day Scythe of the Crow teleport to jump up to these rafters above us.
Okay, so you want to try to, like, put yourself in between the rafters and the ceiling, yeah?
Yes.
You'll have to kind of be prone, like, kind of on your stomach a bit so you can fit. Is that okay?
I could lie down as a sort of offering first, if I would know that.
I mean, you can teleport there and be and arrive like that if you want, or you can lay down first. Up to you.
Okay. I think I will lie down first and say, well, if I'm going to be a main course, I may as well be a damn good one. Be sure to get the right seasoning, and don't overcook me, please. I wouldn't rest well in the afterlife know that it was a wasted meal.
Of course, my talents are very, very exquisite. You will be a masterful dish. And he will walk around the side of the pit. He'll pick up a hammer, like a big mallet, along the way. And I'm assuming as soon as he gets to you, you want to teleport into the sky?
Precisely.
Okay. Yeah, you do so. As he walks up to you, you can hear him kind of stomping on the ground. He's very large. He's not very fast. And it takes him a second to get to you. Once he arrives, he's kind of winding up the mallet to try to just kind of crack you in the head once, just to make you stop moving around so much. And you activate your teleport. Again, it's sort of a flurry of crows that appears and disappears into a cloud. You reappear up on top of the rafters. Let me see if he notices where you've gone. Let's see here. In fact, he does.
Shit.
Even with a very poor perception, he does notice that you have appeared up above him on top of the rafters. What are you doing? Get down from there, bird. I cannot fly.
Fuck you, mean chef. You're cooking your own brother. That's horrible. You're a bad person and you should feel bad.
Oh. This is so rude.
Your cooking is terrible.
He will,
I could smell it from the hallway.
He will, he'll go quiet for a second, actually. I am sorry. What did you say about my cooking?
About your cooking?
Yes, I believe you say it is terrible.
Do you know what orc poop smells like?
Well, I am quite familiar, yes.
Yes. Imagine that, but a little bit crispy. That was the smell I got when I was coming up the hallway.
He puts down the human head that he's been hanging on to this whole time. My cooking is an orc poop? Well, I have never been so insulted in my entire life. And he will go into what you can obviously see as a rage. And he stands at about 7 feet tall or so. So he's not like impossibly far away from the rafters, but you don't think he can jump up that high. He will grab the pan next to him, and without discarding any of the contents of it, you can also hear the sizzle and kind of smell his burnt skin as he's picking up a piping hot pan, essentially from the middle, and he chucks it at the rafter, and he cracks the one that you're on right now.
How close by is the next one over?
It's probably about 5 feet away until you reach the next pillar.
Could I use my scythe as a sort of hook and be able to get over to it? Or maybe even just jump over?
You can, you could probably, it's all connected. So basically think of it like wooden pillars and basically, or not pillars, I'm sorry, but like beams that are going across. So they're all connected. You can crawl there, but depending on how quickly or how well he does on his next attack, essentially, if he tries to crack the pillar again, it might bust through and break before you're able to reach it. I don't know if your scythe, you'd be able to maneuver it properly in such a small area to hook it over.
I understand. Well, I will crawl over to avoid this collapsing beam that I'm on.
Okay, so crawling, your speed is pretty low. I think it goes down to 10 feet a turn or something like that. I believe that's correct. So you crawl over and you move over 10 feet. You are able to make it to the next pillar, or to the next sort of wood beam that's still intact. He does throw another pan at the wood beam that you were on. And yeah, he hits it in basically the same spot as you see his muscles sort of bulging up even more than he was already. And he breaks that pillar in half. It cracks and falls, sort of splitting in two. A piece of it falls into the fire. The lava kind of flares up a little bit and spills over the side slightly. It catches a small fire to the pig that's roasting in the middle, but it goes out fairly quickly. There are about 5 wooden beams remaining.
I would like to go into my pack and get the spider gloves.
Okay.
And equip them.
What do you want to do with that? What do you want to do to get them? You can sacrifice a movement, or it can be your action for the turn.
That'll be my action.
Okay. You have them, and you have them on.
Okay. I would like... That can grip onto anything, right?
It gives you, I believe, advantage for climbing checks. So if there is something, it kind of does give you some unnatural ability to stick to the sides of walls. But if it's a completely smooth wall or ceiling, you can't like stick them to the ceiling and then stay there.
So it's not full Spider-Man spider gloves.
Not full Spider-Man, but they give you advantage on climbing.
Okay.
Think of it like having super good shoes.
Like Nigel's shoes.
Like Nigel's shoes. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's good. Well, I will just use this to increase my chances of being able to hang on in that case.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. What would you like to do from this point?
I would like to... So that was my action that I used, correct?
Yeah, so you can still move.
What kind of a chef has no regard for his own kitchenware and throws it at guests? Horrible. Despicable. 1-star rating. The worst.
A 1-star rating? Never before in my life have I gotten a 1-star rating. I will show you 1-star rating. And he'll pick up another pan. I'll actually pick up 2 pans, and he'll throw them both. Let's see if he's able to hit. Oh, he is rolling very well. Yeah, he hits both of the pans kind of in quick succession, one after another. And he cracks the pillar that you're on. It comes once again toppling down. Give me we can do a, let's see, this would be an athletics check with advantage from your spider gloves to see if you're able to hang on.
Okay. 8 plus 3 is 11.
So advantage, you get to do 2d20, take the highest.
And the other one is a natural 1, so probably go with the 8 plus 3.
All right, so would you like to try to hang on to the side of the pillar that is going towards the lava or away from the lava?
The one that's going away from the lava.
Okay, sounds good. You start sliding down the wooden rafter. You haven't quite hit the bottom yet, but you are now within melee attackable range if he can make it over to you next turn. But you're not off the wooden beam quite yet.
Could I climb up it and then jump to another one?
You can certainly try. It's your turn now. You get the feeling that it is actually fairly solid on the where it's attached, so it's not like about to just crash into the ground. It's actually still attached fairly decently.
Spider-Bird, I'll climb.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
8 plus 3 is 11.
Okay, and you do get advantage, so you can do another one and see if you get better.
17 plus 3 is 20.
Yeah, that's way better. So you're able to climb up this wooden pillar and up to the top. You're on the next wooden beam that's going across the ceiling. There are 4 left.
If the carpenters knew the chef who abided this kitchen, they would be ashamed.
He's gonna walk over to to the new wooden beam that you're on, and he's gonna try to smash it with the wooden mallet that he has. He's gonna try to do a little bit of a hop. He can only hop maybe a few inches off the ground, but he'll see if he can hit you or the wooden beam with the mallet. Damn! All right, NPC's coming out to show. He is able to hit the wooden pillar. Let's see if he's able to break it with his one attack. Yes, he is. So his little hop gives him enough height. He hits the wooden pillar square in the center, kind of right above where you're holding on to, and he smashes through it with the mallet that he picked up. Once again, it starts careening towards the ground. This time, it's heading above the tables at the top end of the room. It's heading to the left and to the right. You're sort of over that middle table currently. Do you want to hang on to the side that's heading towards the left or the side that's heading towards the right?
Towards the left.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics roll.
5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 3 is 4.
All right, you are unfortunately unable to hang on to this pillar as it sort of reaches the like critical point in its swing down. You lose your grip, and you kind of fling off and fall onto the table with all the fish and knives on it. Let me do a quick roll here. You're able to avoid any of the sharp implements though that were on that table. The pillar is still hanging above your head, or the wooden beam is still hanging above your head. It hasn't snapped off either. It is your turn.
Could I jump up and climb up it again?
You can certainly try. You don't know if your weight will be enough to send the wooden beam crashing to the ground or not, but you're more than welcome to give it a shot.
Well, I'm
Also,
light.
I just want it to be known I haven't rolled under an 18 for anything yet. So.
Well, I've been rolling low, so I'm gonna have to get creative here.
Yeah, gonna have to use our brain, our bird brain, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so you jump up to try and climb up the wooden beam over there. There are 3 remaining wooden beams holding the ceiling up. Give me an athletics with advantage because you have your spider gloves on.
5 plus 3 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7.
You're able to hang on to the wooden beam, but you're not able to fully climb all the way to the top. So you're about like halfway, almost to the top of the wooden beam, but you're not quite there. The chef is gonna walk over. He's gonna try to hit you this time and see if he can knock the wooden beam down at the same time. What's your AC?
7 fucking teen.
Okay. He is able to connect with you, but it glances off of you in such a way that it won't deal any damage, but it might knock the wooden pillar loose. Let me see if he was successful in doing that.
Oof.
No, it's not enough to actually sway the pillar back and forth to crack it free. So you avoid any damage, and currently the wooden beam is still standing. Stop it, jumping to and from all the wooden whatevers. Come down, it'll be nice, I promise.
You just tried to hit me, and you didn't even put your back into it. I'm insulted. I would like to climb up, if he won't get an attack of opportunity.
He would, actually.
Then I won't.
Okay. What would you like to do? He'll respond. He'll say, very soon you will be salted. Yes, come.
Let me see what I have.
Give me a perception.
10 plus 3 is 13.
Okay. You, in the flurry of battle, do hear a kind of and feel sort of like a rock dropping on the ground, like a couple of pebbles, and one of them kind of taps you on top of the head, and you kind of glance up very quickly. You see that the ceiling does not look very structurally sound.
Uh-oh. Is it something that could, like, open up and I could go through, or it's gonna fall down and I should get the heck out?
Well, wouldn't you love to know?
I would, actually. That's why I asked.
I guess you'll have to wait and find out.
Okay. Well, I believe I'm high enough up now. Or did I not move because he would attack me?
You said well, I was going to let you tell me what you would like to do. So if you do move away from him, which would include going up, he would get an attack of opportunity.
I would like to, as a bonus action, use a fire-breathing potion.
Okay, sure.
My man.
And then as my action, I would like to toast a motherfucker.
It's kind of one whole thing, so you don't even have to use your action for it. Let's see here. Whoa.
Making bacon.
Get some spice in that stew.
I thought you used it. Did you get another one? I can't remember. Because you used one on the spider.
Oh, did I not remove that?
I don't see it in your equipment.
I see it in mine.
You have the recipe.
Oh. I could recite the recipe.
Yeah, you can tell him how to make it. I don't think you have one, though.
You're right. It does say recipe. I just saw fire breathing potion, and then I saw my beak.
Stop reading.
I could just only see my beak below that, so, you know.
Hey, fair enough, fair enough. Damn beaks. Always getting in the way.
Okay, fuck it. I have a strength potion.
Yes, you do.
Not a strength potion recipe.
No, this one is not a recipe.
An actual factual strength potion.
All right, so you want to pop the strength potion.
I would like to imbibe the strength potion.
Okie dokie. It has 3 charges total, so you only drink enough to consume one of the charges. As you do, you feel your muscles starting to kind of ripple beneath your skin. You can feel them kind of tearing almost, but it doesn't hurt. You just feel almost like mass growing beneath your arms and legs, and basically your whole body just kind of gets physically like just larger than before. Your strength for the next minute, it will be considered a 20.
Woo! I'm feeling like Brant. All right. I have an attack move available, right?
Let's see. If you pop the potion, we do that as your bonus action, then yeah, you still have a movement and an action available.
Okay, well, I would like to sight the motherfucker.
Go for it.
Rolling to hit.
Do you go into a rage as well, or no rage?
I have 1 rage left, and I think I'll save it.
Okay.
I rolled a 4.
So let's see.
So,
it would be 4 plus. Let's see if you're able to get there. Plus your proficiency is 2, plus another 5 from your strength would be a total of 7. You said a 4?
yeah.
Not gonna cut it, I'm afraid. The pig's skin is too thick in order for your scythe to pierce.
Shit.
And you are unable to deal any reliable damage as he lets out a hearty chuckle. Silly bird. I am too strong for you. Now quick, into the pot.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Wait.
Yes.
Wait.
What?
No.
I am done talking to you. And he'll attack you. Or are you gonna move? You got.
Well, he would get an attack of opportunity if I moved, right?
Yep. Hey man, you do whatever you want.
I will stand my ground.
Okay. Are you still hanging onto the pillar?
I feel like there's not as much use in that if I can't climb up.
You do whatever you want. You can drop down to the table. You weren't very far away from it to start with.
Could I wait until he swings at me and then drop down?
To do that would be like a dodge, a bonus action, which you've already used to drink that potion.
Okay, it was a tasty potion, though.
It was good.
Yeah.
Probably needed.
Well, then I'm still on the pillow.
Okay. He will try once again to hit you with the mallet. What's your armor class?
7 fucking teen.
Yeah, that is going to hit this time. All right. That he kind of cracks you with his mallet that he is this like well worn and used mallet. You can see like that it's been stained from blood and all sorts of different just food particles, if you will. It looks like it's never really been cleaned. And the end of it is sort of frayed. It's like a big wooden mallet essentially. It will deal a total of 6 damage to you. As it smashes into the side of your leg. Let's see if that's enough to knock the wooden pillar loose. It is, as the pillar swings back and forth wildly enough to break free of the ceiling. And you plummet down to the... you said you were hanging onto the pillar still. You plummet down to the table. Give me a dexterity save.
8 + 3 is 11.
Okay, you are able to land on your feet, but not any further away from the pig. You're kind of just still squared up and now pushed into a corner, essentially.
Shit. But it's my turn.
Yeah. By this point, like a solid few minutes have passed. Mendax and Nigel will just jump to you real fast. You guys hear nothing. You have no clue of what's happening above you. It sounds literally the same as before. Currently, Call has just been gone for about 3 to 4 minutes so far. Is there anything you would like to do, or would you prefer to continue to wait?
Sure hope Cal hurries up soon. Rather boring.
What's the over-under on him probably finding something and then fighting it?
Or eating it. If he finds some food, maybe he might get distracted by that.
Food is quite good.
To be fair, I mean, Carl's not really the most violent person. Chances are, if he finds something, he won't fight it. He'll try to talk to it. It'll try to fight him.
That's a good point. I mean, he doesn't normally, throw the first call, so...
No, but he does seem to call danger towards him at a prodigious rate, so... Yeah, he is our strongest warrior, one-on-one for sure, but starting to think maybe I should have cast invisibility on him or something before he went off. Probably should have thought of that before, shouldn't I?
You should have made very strict rules as to when he should retreat and when not. Ah, well. He'll be fine. The good ones always last. Isn't that a saying? The good always live very long, healthy, prosperous lives.
Yeah, something about a bird always having 9 lives, something like that, or
Easy.
something like that.
Yeah, well, I think I might just sit down on the stairs then.
Some more?
Oh, let's fucking do this.
All right. So
Ready?
so we're going to thumb war, and I guess
yeah.
I think we're basically just passing the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Both of you give me dexterity saves.
Yes.
I got a 19. Is that
4.
without, because you don't get the +6 or whatever.
You get the +6.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's a 25.
I get a 4.
Okay, next one.
Ooh, get thumbed, bitch!
All right, Call, we'll head back to you. Your turn. You are currently kind of up into the corner of where these barrels are, standing on top of some fish, with the chef staring you down.
For all the righteous and good chefs in the world who don't murder people in their own kitchens, I smite thee. And I would like to attack.
Okay. Go ahead, give me a roll.
11 is +5 and 2.
Let's see. Yeah, you're able to hit.
Nice. D12. Oops. Four. And then +1 because it's sharp. And then +2 because I'm strong? Well, no, because I have 20 strength.
It would be +5.
Ooh. Yeah, so 10.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you deal 10 damage to him. You give him a nasty kind of slice to his arm, and he starts bleeding a bit, but it doesn't look like it's done super critical damage to him. Let me write that down. Okay. He kind of spits out a curse in French.
Merde!
There you go. Perfect. You have your movement action left. Would you like to do anything else?
I don't think I can, without putting myself at greater risk.
Okay. He is going to attack you back then. He's actually going to try to grapple you so that he can move you to the cauldron that's on the side of the fire pit. Go ahead and give me a strength save.
Natural 1.
Natural 20 on my end.
Suppose I'm grappled.
Yep. He grabs you in sort of a bear hug, and he starts walking you over to the cauldron on the side of the lava pit. He is pretty slow, so it'll take him a turn or two to get over to that. In the meantime, you can try to get out of the grapple. So moving over to your turn, you can try to do another opposed strength check to break free.
Is it a strength saving throw?
Yeah, basically.
And then it's +5, but since I have the 20 strength right now, would it be more than that?
Yeah, so how saving throws work is if you have that little, if it's like checked off, so you see how strength and con for you are checked off, that means that your class is very good at those, so you get your proficiency bonus added. So it would be 5 plus your proficiency bonus of 2, which is 7.
Okay. 15 plus 7 is 22.
Okay. Yeah, he rolled quite a bit less than you. You are able to sort of flex up and bulk yourself up enough in order to move his arms apart. He doesn't have very long arms, and you slip free. You can take a movement if you'd like.
Can I do one of these and create distance between us?
There is a movement action you can do called disengage, where you put 5 feet between yourself and the whatever you're fighting. You won't get an attack of opportunity that way, but you won't have any follow-up movement to do. Usually, kind of how that's used is you'll sacrifice your action, do the disengage, and then move. But because your action this turn was breaking free, you could still disengage, but you won't get your follow-up movement, if that makes sense. Rogues, for instance, can do that for free, so that's why they're so mobile. They can constantly disengage and just run away if they want to.
In an attack of opportunity, he gets advantage on his roll.
No, he just attacks you.
Oh.
Just a regular attack. He doesn't get anything special.
Well, then I might just take it and get the heck out. Because we're on the left side of the room, right?
Yes, you are on the left side of the room. If you look at the picture of the map, rather, he was basically flush with the corner of the lava pit, so he is blocking your exit from that side, unless you're trying to push past him.
How tall is he?
He stands at about 7 feet.
Could I not do like a quarterback slide between his legs?
You can do whatever you want.
Well, being a Kenku, we have oil that's on our feathers. It keeps the rain and moisture from getting stuck to it, so it just slides right off. It's also pretty nice for doing a nice slide on a stone floor, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Then I would like to perform said maneuver.
Okay. You go for a slide between his legs. Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check.
6.
Unfortunately, not gonna be enough to cut it. Let's see if he's fast enough here. I'll actually do it as an oppose, so it might be enough to cut it. Let's see. Nope. Unfortunately, he rolled a bit better. As you're sort of mid-slide, kind of shuffles his feet together and pins you kind of underneath him between his legs. So your slide is a bit unsuccessful at the moment. Moving on to his turn, he is going to try to grab you again. Go ahead and give me a strength save.
17.
Okay. As he sort of bends over to grab you, you can tell he's having a hard time. He can't really pick stuff up off the ground very well with how large he is. So his attempts to grab you are not very successful. You are able to push his legs apart wide enough to possibly let you slip through next turn.
Let's do it.
Okay, your turn.
I would like to attempt to continue to move through this behemoth.
Sure, go ahead and give me another acrobatics.
I'm rolling extremely low today. In a very dire situation.
Fucking very high. Like, literally my 18 plus ratio is like 70% right now.
19.
All right. Let's see. All right, yeah, that is going to be enough as you are able to clear the rest of his legs and maneuver your way to the other side. I will give you half of your movement to move away if you want to continue towards the door.
Yes.
Okay. You are basically standing at the door. It's his turn. Oh, come back here, bird. I did not mean anything by it. Come on, we can still be friends.
Fuck you! You threw 3 pans and tried to kill me.
He's gonna throw a 4th pan at you to try to knock you out before you leave.
4 pans.
The pan kind of flies wide as the sausages that were in it kind of fall to the ground and it clatters against the stone wall. So he missed.
Your cooking sucks.
He'll move towards you again. I will make you pay if it is the last thing I do.
How will you make me pay? I'll be dead.
That is how. You see, I am trying to kill you.
You're not doing very well. You're not good at throwing pans.
Your turn.
I would like to get the fuck out of this room.
Okay. Yeah, you have more than enough speed. Like, literally, you take 1 step, you're on the other side of the door. What's your objective? What do you want to do? Just run all the way down, or what's the plan?
I would like to run toward the doorway, and then...
You're at the doorway.
Oh, well then I would like to give him 2 birds and then get the fuck out.
Okay, so are you running down the stairs? Are you just closing the door? What do you want to... Like, what's the full plan? The 2 birds, very, very well received.
Excellent. I'm glad that they were delivered to the recipient.
Yes.
I don't need to close the door. I can just run through.
Okay. So you want to run back down to Mendex and Nigel, right?
Affirmative.
Alrighty. You do so. You book it down the stairway, and in a matter of less than even your full speed, you run back into them. Mendex and Nigel are on their 5th thumb war currently. Mendex has yet to lose a single one. And Call kind of full speed trips over you guys a little bit. And you guys tumble a little bit down the stairwell.
Guys, combat situation. Chef, bad person, terrible cook. Threw pans at me. Wasn't open to reason. He may be coming down the stairs right now.
You didn't kill him?
I tried. I'm just in a funk. I don't know. Some days I just miss all the time.
But your biorhythms are low.
I did critique his cooking and he got very upset. Maybe that's what it was. In any case, he tried to grab me and put me into a cauldron. I'm not really into that kind of thing.
Tried.
He tried, but I was too strong and I broke out of his grip.
I mean, have you ever tried being in a cauldron? It could just be like a hot tub.
Is that what you say when you cook things?
Oh, I don't cook. That's adorable. No, I don't cook.
Oh. Well, we tried to all three of us go up there. I don't know how we're supposed to go fight him or if we even need to go up there. It's just a kitchen, as far as I could tell. There's one door on the backside which I didn't know was in there.
I'm already backing down the steps away from this invisible barrier and brandishing my wand, by the way.
Absolutely.
My sword.
Oh, go ahead.
I might just draw my little, not exactly rapier, but, you know, I guess it technically is still a rapier, just a very low level.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys want to try to, like, ambush if he comes down?
That's what I'm
that's about
preparing.
right.
I'm preparing to firebolt and make some bacon, yes.
Okay, sounds good. We'll say you guys wait for 30 seconds. Nothing comes through the barrier, if you will.
Like
Carl,
he's coming.
I thought you said he was chasing you.
I don't know if he can fit through the doorway. He's very large. Can he
Is he a
fit through
sort
the
of
doorway?
servant? Do they have him as a slave and he's just there to cook for the orcs and feed them?
I don't know what the business arrangement was. All I know is he has a funny accent and he tried to kill me. But he can speak our tongue.
I mean, the whole trying to kill Carl is good enough for me in terms of debating whether or not we should be stabbing him.
Maybe I could go ask him how I can get you guys up here.
Yeah, so maybe appetize him a little more. Give him, I don't know, lick your feathers, pretend it's very tasty, and see if he follows you down here.
Or
He may not be able to pass down this side without this trinket thing.
the necklace.
So I could just go up for a peek and ask him and then come back.
Might be
That
down
is
there.
true. You can ask him if maybe he needs more for a stew. I mean, I don't cook, but I feel like, I mean, Nigel might be a bit stringy, and I'm probably a bit tough. But you could always say there's 2 more people at the bottom of the stairs that might round out the stew for them better than one Kenku.
This is a Billy Goat Gruff all over again.
I'm looking through my pack. I've got some hot sauce for you. That I don't think that'll help.
Actually,
Spellbook, not much help for you.
he
Oh,
was
you think the
very
hot sauce might
lacking on
help?
spices. Yes, he could use some hot sauce. I was telling him.
Well, for negotiating purposes, there's some hot sauce. Mystery purple ore, not going to be helpful. Ink, pen, probably not helpful. The spoon, perhaps? Do you think maybe the spoon?
I mean, you have the whole thing about not losing the spoon, and Carl, I love you, no offense. I gave him 1 rapier. I have no decent rapier. I am just saying. I don't blame you. There was lava, I know, but I am also just saying.
I'm just going to nod and tuck that back into me small clothes. I've got to keep the silver spoon safe, of course.
Yeah, I don't need the spoon.
I do only have 1 prepared spell left for the day. I could turn you invisible, but if you're going to have to fight this creature, at best it'll give you 1 surprise attack, and that's about it. It might be best for me to save it until any other encounter. If there's more opposition, I may need to use a catapult or set everything on fire in a room or something like that.
What does the room look like?
Well, there's a big cooking area in the center with some lava. Apparently, it's the chef's brother, some pig. So the chef is a large pig. His brother is a pig, and the brother is being cooked. I told him that was morally problematic at best, but he didn't seem to care. We may be dealing with the real villain.
If we could find a way for all three of us to get up there, do you think... I mean, you said he's quite large. Would he be too large for the three of us to perhaps shove him into the lava?
We could try.
Have to find a way to get up there.
The three of us have not been bested yet.
I'm trying to recall if we tried taking the necklace off once we were through and tossing it back through the barrier.
We did try that.
We did?
It didn't work.
No, you did not try that.
No. Specifically, I know we did try that. Because I said I was going to walk past the point where we disappeared, then take the necklace off and toss it back. And when I did, it just kind of moved me back down the stairs.
Yeah, so if I remember, you went up like one stair, and then you did it, right?
Yeah, I went like just past the point where we have the chalk mark.
Okay.
So we should be okay. Let's give it another go. Let's try it with more stairs.
Okay, I could advance up a bit further. And then try it
Yes,
again.
give it a go.
Okay, so what's the plan?
I will advance a bit till maybe it's surrounding a corner or so, and then I could throw it around the corner.
Okay, I dig it. Yeah, you proceed forward. We'll say it's about 10 to 15 feet past the that little slice, and when you move forward, you do not see the chef chasing you. He's not like working his way down the stairs. From this point, you can see the doorway once again. You take off the amulet, and you can still see the doorway. You toss it back down the stairs, and Mendax and Nigel, you see the amulet, but you do not see Call.
Fantastic. You can go next, Mendax.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to pick up the amulet and go up until I see Carl, and then toss it back for Nigel.
Okay, yeah, you do the same. You move up. Mendax disappears from sight. You reach Call, and you toss it back down for Nigel.
Huh. We almost made Carl fight him on his own because we're idiots. I'll put it on and also progress through.
All right, absolutely, yeah. So all three of you guys have made it up through that little barrier section. Nigel, give me an Arcana.
Rolled a 14, and that should be a +5, I believe. Yeah, 19.
Yeah. You see the doorway. You see the runes that are scattered around the sides of it. You can tell that is most likely what's powering the sort of enchantment that's on these stairs here. Are those kind of runes embedded into the wall. You don't know what they say or necessarily specifically what they do, but you can see several traits of it that look like there's some form of illusion magic, which you are familiar with, and there is some permanence to them. As in it's a spell, it's an enchantment that's made to last for a long time.
Well, of course, arcane runes. Something I know a lot about, but I don't have the time to dispel them or remove them for now. We'd best leave it as it'll stop the orcs coming up from behind us. So is this the room with the chef inside it?
Yes, and he doesn't know that the two of you are going back with me. So I could advance through, captivate his attention, he'll be looking away from the doorway, and then you can start blasting. Should be a good opportunity for you two.
Definitely. I'm ready to shoot something.
Okay? Just stay by the doorway, and once his back is to you, go for it.
Okay.
Should there be a password, perhaps? Let us know when he's looking away so that we can come in and fire at him from behind.
Yes, the code word is hot sauce.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
I
Okay, I'm going to
stand
put my
ready.
sword up. And I'm going to get my bow and arrow out then to be ready.
Okay. Go ahead, Call. How would you like to proceed?
I would like
assuming
to,
You're running in there, yeah?
Gingerly and in a friendly sort of manner, come back up to the doorway and say, "Good Sir Chef, I've been thinking it over and I've changed my mind."
Okay, you open the doorway. He was kind of back at that top right corner table, chopping up some more different produce, if you will. And he turns around. Ah, you're back. I'm so glad to hear you have changed your mind. Quick, to the pot. We'll put you on immediately. No time to waste.
Well, I did have a couple things in my pack here that I was thinking might complement my musculature a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Some secret spices?
Yes, I would like to open up my mess kit, and I would like to put it sort of near the fire pit in the center.
Okay. What's the objective? Are you trying to get him to come over and look at it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've got 3 different ones to choose from.
Give me a persuasion check.
3 + 1 is 4.
He'll pretty much disregard your request. I have plenty of spices, I promise, from the most exotic lands you could possibly get them from. Don't matter with your dishes. Come, we have much work to do.
But this is a sacred moment for me. I'm about to be dinner, and I would like to be something that, would rest well with my ancestors.
He's not buying it, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not gonna come over there. You're gonna have to come get me if you won't let me choose the spices.
Huh? Very well. Yeah, he'll walk over to come and grab you. Yeah, it takes him a bit. Probably about 10 seconds to cross the room. He has his mallet is still in his hand, and there's some fresh blood and different sort of pulverized meat scraps that are clinging to the hammer. Give me a perception call.
16 + 3 is 19.
Okay, you notice that the cut that you gave him on his arm is totally healed. There's dry blood that's there, but there's no actual wound anymore. But yeah, he walks over to you and he is gonna try to pick you up.
Oh, one more thing.
Wait.
Have you ever tried hot sauce on the bird?
Hot sauce?
Yes.
What is hot sauce?
Well, while you carry me over there, I'll explain it to you.
Ah, yes, okay. And he'll kind of pick you up again. And
So a good hot
Nigel
sauce is from a pepper
it's
plant.
the code word.
They're the seeds in the pepper plant, and that's where the hot sauce gets its heat. I'm trying to project this toward the doorway.
Okay.
The moment I hear the word hot sauce, I kick in that door, knowing that the danger has already been drawn away from me. So it's the only time I enter a doorway first, and I will shoot a firebolt at this pig.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a. I believe it's to hit, right? It's a ranged spell attack. Yeah, go ahead and give me one of those.
Rolled a 2 + 5, 7.
Okay, yeah, you're still able to form the firebolt, and you do kind of shoot that at him. It's you lose your concentration slightly though. This is your first time kind of kicking in the door first. You got a little too excited, and it hits him in the back. Doesn't really do anything. He kind of reaches back and scratches. Spark from the fire must have hit me.
Oh, God damn it.
I would like to then follow Nigel into the room, and as I draw my arrow back to shoot, I want to say, "Squeal like a piggy for me," and then shoot an arrow at this thing.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll. Boy, better hope you don't miss. One-liner before the action has succeeded.
Does
is
that
always my favorite?
Does she not get an attack of opportunity?
No, but she no attack of opportunity. It's no opportunity.
A surprise attack, I think, is what he means.
Yeah, it's surprise. So she'll get her sneak attack, but yeah, it's not quite the right thing.
So I got a 16 plus 5. So
yeah, that'll certainly hit. Go ahead and give me some damage and add your sneak attack.
Okay, so that would make it. I think that's a 3d6 plus 3 then.
Yeah, your sneak attack is 2d6, and then plus whatever your dexterity modifier is. Yep.
Oh, okay. So 4 plus 1 plus 5, so that's 10 plus 3 is 13.
Yeah, you kind of sink this arrow in the back of its calf, and it falters a little bit. Oh, what the and he'll spin around and see you guys there. Make a dexterity save.
"19 plus 3 is 22.
Okay, as he's spinning, he kind of starts to drop you into the lava as he's reaching back to try to pull the arrow out of his leg. But you are able to catch yourself and grab onto the pig that's being roasted in the center. You stabilize on that, but it is sort of rocking back and forth. So it will be difficult for you to stand on that forever.
Whoa. A pig surfboard. Over the lava.
Yes.
I'm getting Magmalisk vibes.
Is it? I was picturing Gonzo from the Muppet Christmas Carol when he drops down the chimney and lands on the hot bird. No, it wasn't Gonzo. It was Rizzo.
Specific reference. I am.
So I'm the only one who watches the Muppet Christmas Carol every year.
I didn't say that.
It's been far too long.
It has been a very long time.
Wow. Cool for all of you.
Be sure to tune in for Wayfarers episode 25, where we watch the Muppet Christmas Carol together.
It's a good movie.
I don't doubt it. Okay, so that was your guys' sort of surprise rounds. Go ahead and give me a regular initiative roll, and let me know what you get.
$12.
18 plus initiative is 220.
Let me look at my plus for initiative. So 16 plus 3 is 19.
Okay. Nigel, you are the first to act again. What would you like to do? The chef has spun around and is looking at you guys.
Well, there goes the practice run. Time to bring out the big guns. Yes, let's not dilly-dally. Half a moment's hesitation before I decide to try and deduce some magic. So okay. I believe I'm going to cast Catapult with a only remaining spell slot that I have, a level 2 spell slot. So I'm going to cast a level 2 catapult. And I believe that's just a normal roll to hit as well. Let me see.
I think so. Yeah, let's make sure.
Oh, dexterity saving throw for the creature, actually.
Oh, okay. And
of course, I'm shooting one of these stones that I've still got 3 left in my pockets that I carry around, about 3 pounds.
Okay, you can actually, when you do it at level 2, it increases the weight of the object. You can go by 5 if you do want to do something else, but the stone will work just fine. It won't.
It does exactly the same damage, but
yeah, it does.
I could do something cooler.
Hey, the rocks are cool. You go for what you want to go for.
Yeah, we'll stick with the rock. I don't think I really have time to pick up one of these pans or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Dexterity saving throw. Let me pull him up here, and he has to beat a 13, I think.
Yes.
Okay. He fails. He is not nimble enough to dodge out of the way of the stone that is being launched through the air, careening towards him. Give me some damage.
All right, so that should be 4d8, I believe. I'm
Sweet
so
roll.
happy that I actually have dice now. This is so much more satisfying to roll.
Unless you roll like me.
So that's an 8. A 5, that's 13. A 4, 17. And a 5, 22.
Whew. All right.
Zip
Let's
zap.
see here. Zip zap, bro. Okay, yeah, you launch this rock through the air, pouring the last of the magical energy you have, expending your final spell slot. Very focused on it, and it just launches through the air at this pig. Give me a further d20. Just roll a d20 for me.
12.
12. You shoot this rock at its leg, the same leg where Mendax's arrow hit. And you actually deal enough damage and hit it with such force that it essentially chops this leg off. So it disconnects it from its body, and it's kind of just flailing on the ground a bit. He is hobbling on one leg. It doesn't look like the pain has registered as much as you think it should. But he is very upset with the situation. You've broken off my leg.
Well, that could be an appetizer.
What you're whining about? You have an extra one.
I am going to get you.
I do have a good hot
You gotta
sauce.
Over here and get me.
It's gonna try. Mendax, it is your turn, Nigel, unless you would like to move somewhere.
I'm simply staring in a little bit of disbelief at the leg twitching around with a little bit of a smile around the corner of my mouth.
Okay, sounds good. Mendax, yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm going to shoot another arrow at him. Why not?
Okay, sounds good. Go for it.
17 plus 5.
That will be another hit for sure. Go ahead and give me some damage. Arrow whizzing through the air, looking for a new target.
1d6 plus 3. Come on, d6. 5 plus 3, 8.
And then you get 2 more d6 for your sneak attack.
Oh, is he in combat technically with
Yeah,
Call?
with call.
Okay, wasn't sure. Okay.
Oh, good.
That was the plan.
Okay, so that. All right, so that's another 4. So that's 12 plus 1 is 13.
Okay. Yeah, the arrow shoots through the air and hits him square in the chest. Blood is kind of starting to hemorrhage out of that wound, and he is kind of hopping and trying to keep his balance. He lets out another curse under his breath, and he is looking pretty pissed. It goes to his turn. You see this real quick. You do see that the stump of his leg, that where it got chopped off, it was sort of pouring out this blood and sort of muscle tissue. It starts to heal up very quickly, and you can see already that the blood is no longer pouring from that leg. The leg itself on the ground is sort of inching towards you guys, but it only moves about 5 feet. He is starting to hop on one leg towards you, Nigel, but he is not very fast. He is only able to move forward maybe half the distance between where he's standing, which was at the bottom right corner of the lava pit, and where you are at the opening of the room. Call, I think that actually would give you an opportunity as well, as he's moving towards Nigel now, and you are still within range of him.
Could I do a jumping downward strike, since I'm on the pig right now?
The only thing you can do for a like an opportunity attack is like a basic action. So usually cool attacks I'm fine with, but in this case it would be a little, I think, overpowered to be.
This is still a cool attack because I'm surfing on the pig.
It is a cool attack. You're still balancing and surfing on his brother.
I would like to use the ancient Kenku technique of the pig surfer strike. And swing at
You
him.
let loose the fury of the pig surfer strike, and you hit. Let's see.
Natural 1.
Oh boy. All right. Go ahead and give me a dexterity save.
It is 9.
Okay. As you're sort of winding back for this attack, the pig that you're surfing on has been cooking for a very long time. It's much less like solid than you would have imagined. It's been slow roasted, possibly even for days now, and it starts to break apart underneath your feet as you sort of buckle down to try to get a good angle. You are able to hang on, but you are now dangling, holding on to the side of the pig as it is starting to slowly tilt back. You're beginning to lose your balance, and you're dangling over the lava pit.
Really is not my day.
Not quite. Not quite, I'm afraid. It is now your turn, though.
It's my turn?
Yeah, so it was his turn. All that he tried to do is get closer.
That was my attack of opportunity that
was your attack. Yep.
I
So now
bungled
it's
that
your
pretty
turn.
good.
For real.
Okay, well, I'm glad that I put the gloves of the spider on.
Yes.
So, it's sort of sinking downward?
Think of it, it's kind of like, it's like, what do they call it?
Rotisserie pig.
Yeah, it's like a rotisserie. So the bar that's going through the pig and holding it over the lava, it spins. So as you're putting more weight on one side, it's starting to spin the pig that way, which is not good for your present situation. What would you like to try to do? Edge of the where the stones are probably just maybe, couple feet away from you at best.
Could I just jump over to that?
You could try.
I
You would have to like launch yourself off of the pig because you're hanging on right now.
Yeah.
So you don't have any for your feet to go to like jump, but you could like try to push yourself off and grab onto the other side if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics. It will give you. Well, actually, sorry. Yeah, athletics is fine. Yeah, jumping isn't okay. Yeah, athletics check. You have advantage because you have those gloves and you're trying to climb onto the other side. So, we'll stretch it that far.
9 plus 3 is 12. Shit. And 19 plus 3 is 22.
Yeah, you're certainly able to make it to the other side, and you scurry to the top of the stones quickly enough, and you actually hop off the other side quickly, as they are literally stones that have been sitting essentially right above lava, so they're very hot. You take 2 damage from the burns as you sort of scurry up the other side.
Ouch. I'm at 22 health.
Okay. I mean, not bad considering you went toe to toe with this guy for so long.
I was being annoying and evading him mostly, but yes.
It's a good call. The jump would probably take up your action. Is there any more movement you want to try to do?
Can I just kind of peek above the side and just like talk some mad shit and then go back down?
Absolutely.
We should cook your leg and throw it in the cauldron.
He just is kind of frustrated at the situation in general. He doesn't seem too broken up about his leg, though, actually.
Well, he should be. He's got the Wayfarers all around him.
Yeah, well, maybe he doesn't quite realize the situation he's in. Nigel, back up to you, my man. Chopped off pig's leg. What is the follow-up? Which is still inching towards you guys. It's kind of like an inchworm trying to move forward.
And so, on the picture, sorry, which part of the room did we enter from?
The bottom left. So it's a little cut off if you're looking at it on the Twitch screen, but you can see there's a little bit of a stairwell entrance there. The top right corner of the room is a door. And then the rest of the room is sort of as you see. Various cooking implements and ingredients.
And sorry, was he on the top left corner of it? Is that where the chef was?
Right corner.
The bottom right corner. Okay.
Yeah, because sorry. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Can I get to his leg, or is he he's between me and it now, isn't he?
Yes, he is now. The leg is not super fast. It's like it moves like 5 feet a turn essentially. He moves about 10 feet a turn with one of his legs being chopped off. Can
I get past him to the leg without giving him an opportunity to attack? Is there enough room around the edge of the room to get past him?
Unless you have a way to go the long way around, no. He's a bit too wide.
Okay. So I don't think I could make it all the way around the other side in one go. Distance-wise, how far could I get working my way around the top and to the right?
You can probably make it to the top right corner where the cauldron is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that as long as I can still have a clear shot at him, which I think I will, because there should only be the spit, I believe.
Yeah, you definitely have a clear shot.
Okay, so I'll move up to that top right-hand side, and I will shoot a firebolt at him.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, you're on the same side that Call is sort of ducking behind right now after he talks some mad shit. And go ahead and give me the firebolt attack.
All right, I rolled a 14 plus the 5, so 19.
That's going to do it. That'll hit for sure. Go ahead and give me some.
I would hope so. If that doesn't hit, I'd be very upset. Where's me D10? Here we go.
And Pig has upgraded to physical dice during the move. Found some dice to roll. So he's joined the physical dice club. Damn. Those are hot.
A juicy one. A juicy one.
Is it a dark metal with red text?
Yeah, Diablo dice.
Oh. Mine are also, it's like a slate with red text.
Oh, very nice.
I've got
go
beautiful coral with gold.
Oh. I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a D4, but it has multiple numbers on it.
Yep, that's a D4. So it's whatever the bottom number is. Whatever number you can read when it lands.
But there's multiple of the same number.
Yeah, so
I guess because
If it's down flat, you'll see the same number all around the top, and that's where you go.
Huh? Oh my.
His are on the bottom. So the number that it is on the bottom. So it's whatever number you can read when it lands.
Oh, and there's like an even split of them. Okay, cool.
Yep. D4 is crazy.
Mind bending.
Okay, you deal 1 damage. So you're able to once again kind of hurl out this firebolt, and it hits him in the back once more. Again, the goddamn sparks! I must break the walls on this a bit. But you deal. You deal the damage. Char up his shoulder just slightly.
Heck yes.
Feeling good about that hit. Because you don't know what damage you necessarily do. You're like, oh yeah, man, that was good.
Well, you got to roast a pig slowly but surely. The chef knows that. Same way he was doing it.
Mendax will move to you.
Okay. Can I tell whether or not his leg is healing, as in regrowing another leg, or just like it's cauterized and stopped bleeding?
At this point, it looks like it's just stopped bleeding.
Okay. Then I would like to shoot another arrow at him.
Hey, absolutely. Go ahead and give me your to hit roll. Another arrow comes.
That would be a 9 plus 5, so 14.
Okay, you are just a little bit under his armor class, unfortunately. The arrow does strike him, but what happens is as you're pulling back the bowstring and you let loose the arrow, sort of a flare up from the lava distorts your vision a bit and kind of you squint a little. It goes a bit wide, just a smidge, and it only slices through sort of the upper layers of fat that this pig has on his shoulder. And you unfortunately don't deal any damage. Call, as you're sort of ducking behind the side of the lava pit, and you hear an arrow kind of pass by up above your head, and it lands in one of the apples behind on the table.
A perfect shot of the apple.
For that apple, just so everyone knows.
That's your apple.
It seemed devious, and it was behind my friends. I had to really make sure we took that apple out of commission.
Oh, you slayed the poisoned apple.
I did.
Well done.
You are very welcome.
Thank you, Mendax, for keeping us all safe.
As I can.
Anything else you would like to do?
I get my extra action, or my disengage plus dash, correct? So I can just dash around to the side where my two compatriots are?
Yeah, so you can disengage or dash as a free action.
Sure.
And then you get your free movement. So essentially, you could run around this room once if you felt like it. So
could I run around the room once and snatch the leg up while I'm at it?
If you make a full circle around the room, you'll run past him, and that would put you within an opportunity attack kind of striking range. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I just want to let you know. But yes, you could try to grab the leg.
Couldn't she run the opposite direction and not pass him and get to the leg?
Well, if she goes a full circle, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So you could run around and grab the leg and not pass him. But if you want to go back to your original starting point, you will. You can't run.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to end up at my original starting point. If it's possible for me to run around and grab the leg and he's still not within, grappling distance, because he's moved closer to the door, would he have to take one extra move? I'm not sure where the leg is on this floor. So if I run around, grab the leg, and that's my movement, would he have to take another turn to get close enough to me is what I'm asking.
If you stop at the leg, he'd be able to reach you his next turn. If you stay where you are, or if you stop at the leg, he can reach you.
Okay, well then, fuck that. I will just dash over to where my compatriots are. We'll get that leg later. Does it have a shoe on it?
It does not.
Okay, well then, no need to take stupid risks then.
Oh yeah, no shoes, no dice, dude. Who cares? Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So you run around the room. You have more than enough speed to do so.
Can I say something like, "Oh, come and get me, Piggy! Hop along!" While I'm doing it, I just would like to taunt him some more.
Yeah, of course. More than welcome to. He'll sort of stop running around so much. I'm getting a bit tired. And it will actually be his turn. So the blood that was kind of coming from the arrow in his chest has also stopped, and you can see there's no bleeding at all where his leg was anymore. The arrow has actually kind of worked itself almost out, and it's kind of just hanging on just a little bit. He is going to hobble back to try to reach you guys. Yeah, I don't think he has the speed though to even reach call. You guys are kind of just, you know what he'll do? Yeah, he's gonna grab another pan and try to throw it at one of you. Let's see, because he's not gonna be able to reach any of you this turn. So I will random it here. Okay, call. He's going to throw a pan at you, my friend. Closest target, just blind fury is just
No respect for kitchenware.
armor class 17, right?
1-star chef, yes.
Oh my god, my poor chef, dude. He just wants to make a delicious meal.
He's a murderer.
Debatable. He unfortunately is not able to hit you as you're kind of ducking down behind the side wall of the lava pit as well. It clatters on the side, chips off a few of the rocks, like a bit of debris and stone falls to the ground, and the steak that is now totally burnt from being on the fire for way too long kind of clatters to the ground.
How close am I?
Oh, go ahead.
How close am I to his leg?
Why does everybody want his legs so bad?
Because it's bacon.
We're going to cook that shit.
He is kind of well, let's see. His leg is probably about 5 feet away from you, and he is 5 feet away from the leg. So, yeah, there you go. It's not very far away at all. And it is your turn.
Well, I would like to, if I can, skewer the leg with my scythe and then throw it into the lava.
Well fucking done. The action and the leg.
God. Okay, hold on.
Burn that shit.
Okay, it has an armor class. So you need to roll to hit it. It's actually in the rules I'm using here.
The leg of chef has an armor class, okay.
Yeah, man, it does.
Please tell me it's lower than the actual chef.
A little bit, but not by much.
What?
25.
Okay, that will absolutely hit it. Yeah, you are able to sort of shunk and skewer the leg. It starts to spasm kind of wildly, and you toss it in the lava. The chef is, my leg! What? I need that leg.
You do? You can attach it again?
Of course.
Well, go after it, quick!
It had sunken into the lava very quickly, and it sort of, you smell the charred bit of pig as it submerges in the boiling lava.
I dare you to go in there and grab it.
I will make you pay for that. I will take your leg and throw it into the lava or something.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
He will bonus action go into a rage. Yes, I will. Nigel, your turn.
This is clearly more than a flesh wound. You need to sit down, Chef Pig.
Yeah, you have noticed he's not bleeding at all anymore from any of his wounds currently.
Let's see what we can do about that. Let's fireballs.
Okay. Get it.
9.
That's like all your pluses as well, yeah?
Sadly, yes.
Just checking. Yeah, you hurl a firebolt. Unfortunately, it goes a bit wide of your target, even though he is fairly large. You're not able to sink the shot. Unfortunately, your bravado
Daggone it.
getting in the way of your technical precision.
Damn it. Well, not much else I can do. He's still more than 10 feet away from me, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will step back a few feet to the north of the room then. But otherwise, that's the end of my turn.
Okay, sounds good. Mendax, you're up.
He only has one leg now. So I'm going to remove the ball bearings that I've been carrying around in my satchel this entire quest. And I'm going to toss them at his feet.
His foot.
Correct. Where his feet used to be, but no longer now are. Where there is a singular foot.
Technically, swine feet are called trotters. They're not actually feet.
At his trotter. Okay, yeah, as an action, you could... Oh my god. Okay, yeah, sounds good. Okay.
I can't believe you had these and you didn't use these for our Home Alone trap in the last episode.
Totally skipped my mind. I know. I'm actually very glad it did at this point, but it could have done so much better.
Go on, Mendax, get his trotters.
Yeah, you're able to sort of throw the bag of ball bearings forward and onto that side of the lava pit, and a 10-foot area kind of centered around him now is covered in just hundreds of these tiny circular pieces of metal that will make it very difficult for him to move around, whereas he was already having a hard time. We'll see how well he can do now. That is your action. What would you like to do? Anything as a movement? You move anywhere or do anything else?
I think so. I'm fairly safe now. I'm looking at my things.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it will move over to his turn. So the ball bearings say DC 10 dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Oh man, this is just not gonna go well for me.
I want to be so close to that lava.
Okay, we will give him disadvantage as well because he's only got one trotter. Yeah, he absolutely tries to take one hop and just falls flat on his back. Let's see. He manages to avoid falling into the lava pit, but he just completely eats the ground as he has fallen prone as soon as he tries to move forward. He is prone. He lets out another curse in French. Neuro, if you know any more, go for it. I don't know anymore. And yeah, he's laying on the ground trying to get back up.
Merde!
Now I'm picturing the little brother Randy from A Christmas Story movie when he has the big suit on and he can't get up.
That is a fairly accurate depiction. that is pretty goddamn close to what's happening here. Okay, Call. your turn. He has fallen onto the ground. From this vantage point, you can see that the stump of his leg has healed over completely. So there's no, you don't see the cut. You don't see any muscle sinew or anything like that.
So in my pack, I have some, hemp rope.
Okay.
I would like to fasten it around the whatever thing trapped his trotter, or what have you.
It's just a bunch of ball bearings on the ground.
Oh, it just tripped him? It's not tied
Yeah,
to him?
you tripped them. Nope, just tripped them.
Okay. Well, then I would like to fasten the rope around his trotter so that I can pull his leg.
How in the hell am I even gonna roll that? Okay. He is still like alive, and I guess it would be a grapple. So yeah, go ahead and give me a strength check, and this will be an opposed one by him to see if he can stop you from doing that.
Do I still have the strength potion active?
You do not.
Okay. Fuck.
What'd you roll?
2 plus whatever I get. 5?
It would just be 2 plus 3. No proficiency bonus on this one.
5 total.
Okay. He is able to resist being tied up as he sort of kicks out wildly with his leg as you approach. And you're unable to fasten the rope to his leg.
Shit.
My poor chef, dude. He's just being brutalized over here. Nigel, back up to you. He's fallen onto the ground. From where you are, you can't see him. The wall is too high.
Are there any pans around me?
There are tons of pans.
So I'm wanting kind of a medium-sized cast iron skillet or pot. Basically a medium-sized pot. And what I'm thinking is I'm planning to see if I could basically scoop up some lava and then pour it on him.
Yes!
Since my firebolts
so
haven't been
hoping someone
particularly
would do
effective.
Okay, go ahead.
Bait that little piggy.
Yeah, there are pans that are sort of lining the stones of the wall, like the little half wall of the lava. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Okay. Rolled a 19 plus what is my intelligence? Plus 5. 24.
Okay, they are screaming hot. And you know that based on how close they are to the lava, grabbing them is a really bad idea with your bare hands.
Yes.
I do
And
have
actually, if I
old
fill it with
rags.
lava, it's literally molten stone. Yeah. Is there any cloth around? Because I don't want to use my own robe because that's going to be too ungainly. I know 100% I'm going to pour lava on myself accidentally.
In one of those orc rooms, I picked up 2 old rags.
I don't know if we'd have time. This has to be kind of quick and on the fly.
No, I mean I
See
have
if there's
them.
any rags around. There might be some. Let me just give you a quick d20. Yeah, we'll say that there's some sort of rags that are tucked into the side of the table where the raw meat is at the top right.
So
He wouldn't keep it on the stone because it would probably just burn. So he'd keep it away.
okay, so would I be able to get that, grab the pan, and then get to him all in one go?
Let me see.
It would be some Looney Tunes shit.
Right. That's probably one too many actions, because that's move to the rag, grab the rag, come back, grab the pan, dunk it in magma, move to the guy, dump it out over there. So that's probably at least 2 turns. You could go get the rag, come back, and pick up the pan, I think, in one go. And then next turn, you could try to scoop up lava. Not saying that will work, not saying it won't work. And then try to go over to him and sort of, in one motion, kind of spray him with it. It is very cool. I want you to do it, but it's
yes. No, I think... Thing is, clothing wise, I just wish I had something I could easily just like take off, but all I've got is I'm wearing robes. There's nothing other than my small clothes that's about the right size, and that's not exactly something that can be taken off mid-combat. So I'm going to I'm not sure there's any limitations on Mage Hand's agility. I only have a very basic explanation of it here.
Yeah, Mage Hand. Let's see.
It can lift up to 10 pounds. I'm not sure. I guess a skillet is probably, or a pot is probably about 4 pounds or something like that. So I could still get about 6 pounds of lava in it, potentially.
I think that you can pour stuff out. It's like kind of the way that Mage Hand works is it does very simple, like, do this. So, like, for instance, if there was a cauldron filled with something next to him, you could say, push that over or something like that. That would be...
Yeah.
But the action of, like, okay, pick this up, now fill it up, now go over there, that would even take, I think, like 3 turns, because it's like...
Yeah, it's kind of it's 3 different simple tasks kind of chained together, isn't it? That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't think I can Mage Hand this, but...
Can the Mage Hand splash?
I think that might be difficult, but I could definitely just knock a pan onto him as he's on the ground there.
Do that. Yeah, certainly.
Since my fire bolts haven't been as good, I'm just gonna basically knock one of the scalding pans onto the pig's head if possible, or his body.
He's just gonna death by 1,000 cuts, man. Just slowly but surely, just be attacked with whatever. I like it. Okay, so yeah, you conjure up the Mage Hand, and one of the pans that's near him, you push it off. Sort of, you hear the scraping of metal on the stone as it works its way off, and it flies over. You can't see him, Nigel, but you hear sort of the yells and squeals of this pig as it's being doused in whatever hot cooking oil was on that. And it does a bit of damage. You don't really know how much, but it does a bit.
Awesome.
Call, you're actually over there. You see like hot oil splattering and covering the pig, kind of, spraying on him as this pan flips over from the side. You see the spectral hand, so you know it's Nigel that did it. But yeah, this is it looked very painful.
Good move.
I'm going to move down around a bit as well, just so I have a bit of a view. So I'm just going to kind of move down, keeping as much distance between me and the pig as possible, but I just want to have a clear view of it, and admire my handiwork.
Sure, absolutely. You see him rolling around in the ball bearings, trying to get back up, and now the sort of steam from the hot oil rising off of his skin. You move to the bottom right corner of the room between the casks that are filled with something and the table that has all the vegetables and fungus on it. And then Mendax, I think we're on to you.
And Carl has his one good trotter with the rope around it, correct?
Nope, he was not able to do it.
Oh, damn. Fuck it. I would like to carefully make my way towards his foot and use my his trotter, and hack at his one remaining good leg.
If you are going to specifically target something, you will get disadvantage on the roll. If you just want to attack him, it's kind of a bit more up to interpretation. But if you're going for a very specific action, then you will get disadvantage on it. But you can if you want.
You know what? Well, I'm going to approach him from the leg side anyway with my rapier. And it only has a 5-foot damage arc, so I'm going to hopefully bank on the fact that it'll hit the leg.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise, if he's very well endowed, I might be changing his religion. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Give me an attack roll, though.
Okay.
We'll see if you're able to do anything.
I got
How'd
a
you-
nat 20.
All right, that's pretty
Oh,
damn
fuck
good.
that leg up.
Go ahead and you do 1 full round of damage. So I think that starts at 18. So give me another attack damage roll with your sneak attack. So just give me a basic damage roll. You get plus 18 to it.
Okay, basic damage roll. 1d8 plus 3 for the rapier. So 7, 8, 9, 10.
And then your 2d6 sneak attack.
2d6. 10, 1, 11. And 1, 12.
Okay, but that's a total of 30, I believe.
Yes.
So, yeah, how would you like to kill the chef?
I want to walk up to him. Oh, wait. Shit. Since I already walk, I just want this to be good.
Well, if you want me to do it, you can.
No, it's
Okay.
gonna be fine. While he's screaming, I want to shove the blade through his open mouth.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. You walk up on this pig who is still trying to get his balance and get back up. And he sort of doesn't even notice you as you approach, as he's just flailing kind of back and forth, squealing out from the hot oil that's been poured on him from this pan. And you sort of coup de grace the pig in a way where you just take the sharp point of the rapier and shove it into the back of his through the back of his head rather. The pig lets out one final squeal, and blood starts to pool from around the back of his head as he stops moving completely and goes completely limp. He has been killed very brutally, but it was
Holy
a quicker death at the end, at least.
You know, I was hoping to tie him up and throw him into the lava, but that was pretty cool. Well done, Mendax. And you too as well, Nigel. Couldn't have done it without you.
Yes, the fact that you were fighting this monstrosity on your own kind of scares me. Perhaps we should be a little bit more studious, checking out every option next time when there is an impassable barrier and we think we need to send somebody ahead alone. Because honestly, if we didn't knock its leg off that early, I don't even know if the three of us could have taken it. That thing seemed to be actively regrowing during the fight. I don't know about you guys, but I would much prefer it and feel much more comfortable if we could put its corpse inside the fire and burn it right now. Because I have no idea how it was regenerating, but it might still be able to come back.
I think that very strongly. I think we might, Carl, it won't be while he's alive, but we can push the corpse into the lava.
Yeah. You guys can certainly work together to pick up and sort of roll the chef into the lava if you like.
That sounds good.
Team effort. All right.
Absolutely.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are able to pick him up. Carl, you're kind of in the center, bearing most of the weight, and you guys, you're able to get him high enough where you can lean him on the side of the lava, the stone, and you sort of roll him in. And as he kind of is slowly lowering down, the last you see is his arm in the air, giving the thumbs up.
What a character.
Yes, and a very bad person. I don't feel too bad about dispatching that one.
Yes. I wonder if, it's nature versus nurture. It's the constant question I think about. I mean, maybe if he had better parents, he could have ended up like Dick.
Oh, yeah!
Oh yeah. See,
You know,
he's a
just-
good chef.
You don't need to murder in order to pound your meat twice daily. You can simply be providing nourishment and food to those in a small township. In another life, he could have been a good person.
Filling their mouths and bellies. Oh, good dick.
We can all aspire
What a
to be as
solid
good
guy.
as Richard Dixon.
Indeed. Well, I didn't really have much of an opportunity to inspect this room. Before, when I was up here alone, I was trying to buy time, and then once I found out his true motives, I was trying to hassle him and stay alive. So, I didn't look around, but maybe there's something to be gained from this place.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything in particular you would like to inspect?
I would like to look for some ingredients, anything that might jump out at me as a potion reagent, more so than cooking things.
Okay, sounds good. Nigel Mendax, anything you guys would like to do specifically?
I definitely want to get my arrow out of the apple.
You do
Put
so.
that back into my inventory, and I would also like to just scrounge about and see what I can find.
All right, sounds good. And Nigel, how about you?
A little hungry, to be honest. We've been on this adventure for a while, and the jerky's good and all, but I'm gonna investigate to see if there's any freshly cooked meat that's a little overcooked, if anything, but actually looks like maybe it's like maybe the pig, because I can tell that's a big pig on this bit. I'm looking for something, non-humanoid, seems safe to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Nigel, we'll start with you. You look around the sort of lava cauldron epicenter, whatever you'd like to call it. There are still some pans that are still cooking away. Several of them have caught fire just from the hot oil heating up so much. Most of what's on there is burnt. But the pig that's in the center, that looks like it's been going for several days. So that one still looks good. There are several parts of it that are caved in from where Call was standing on it, but there's still sort of the front half of it where you can peel off pretty much as much of it as you would like, even with just your bare hands. It is pretty hot, but it's not hot enough to really burn you. Not too much anyways. You might sort of get some mild burns on your hands if you do so.
Yeah, so I'll give myself a little bit of a greasy burn, getting a bit off, and then just before my mouth, I'm going to think twice, drop it in the lava, pull out some beef jerky, snack on that, and kind of reprimand myself internally for being a little bit of an unnecessary risk taker here.
Okay. So you decide not to sink in on some delicious pig.
No, the pig cooked by the pig that had magic regeneration and was trying to cook my Kenku comrade. No, probably not the best idea to trust his cooking on second thought.
That's fair. That's the very solid reasoning there. So you dig in on some beef jerky instead. Call, you look around. Give me a D20.
$19.
Yeah, through some searching in the fungus and vegetation pile that's on the right side, you actually are able to find tied up in sort of a small bundle what you recognize as what they call fireweed. It's a very spicy herb, but it's also one of the main components you need in that fire-breathing potion recipe that you have. You surmise, depending on how well you can utilize it, it might even make up to 2, possibly even 3 charges of that potion once you get back to the proper tools in order to make it.
I need an alchemy table.
Yep. Too bad you smashed up the only one in the castle.
I did that?
Well, you all did that.
I think we collectively made that mistake.
Yeah.
I think it was the orc's body that really smashed the table.
There was a lot of carnage that went on down there. Let's just be real. A lot of stuff smashed a lot of things in that room.
Really, the Christmas movie metaphors started last time. with the Home Alone. I'm just continuing on a glorious tradition this week.
I see. So there's still 2 months till Christmas, so, which is on a Friday this year. I actually just looked earlier today. So nice.
A Black Friday, perhaps. You know, we are in the Dark Tower, and perhaps Christmas for orcs could be 2 months earlier. We don't know. It's different traditions.
Who knows? So go ahead, add that to your inventory call, and just say, like, you can put a note on it, main component to make the fire breathing potion. Just so I remember, and you do.
Got it.
Fantastic. Mendex, you were kind of just surveying the room, seeing what you can see. Overall, you don't see anything, I would say, hella useful. There are some knives. There are some blades around. His mallet managed to escape the lava that's sitting to the side, kind of discarded. You're now kind of seeing the rest of the room. There are those pillars that have fallen from the ceiling, the support beams for the ceiling. And you see that the top left corner of the room, where most of them got smashed away, it looks like it's kind of not as stable as the rest of the ceiling. There's some rocks that have fallen out from that area, but it doesn't look like it's, well, I mean, you can't necessarily tell. It hasn't caved in yet.
Guys, I'm not an architect. I have built many a theatrical sets. Granted, none of these look like flats, but it looks like the roof over the corner of the only door isn't quite as stable as I might like it to be. If we want to keep going. It's on the
opposite end, not over the door.
Okay. Oh, it's not over the door? Oh, then fuck that ceiling. I don't care about that ceiling. Okay, actually, when we move upstairs, we might want to keep an eye on, or keep a guesstimate as to where that ceiling is beneath us once we go through this door, because I wouldn't want to put a whole lot of weight on top of those rafters.
A fair point. Yeah, but besides that, it's just various cooking implements and ingredients and food. So if you'd like to eat any of that, you guys are welcome to try it out or risk it, in the terms of Nigel.
Absolutely not.
I would like to eat some of the fish. Just a quick
snack.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you head over to the top left corner of the room. There is some fish. Some of it is rotten already, but some of it still looks fairly fresh. Are you just eating it raw, or are you cooking it up first?
I'll have some of the fresh stuff raw.
Okay, you find a fish that doesn't smell terrible. It smells actually pretty good. You're unfamiliar with what type it is, but you pop it down your gullet. It has a weird sort of acidic flavor to it, but overall is pretty pleasant.
Delicious. I'm sure that chef would have found some way to ruin this with cooking.
Didn't even try out his cooked dishes, man. You don't even know.
I'm not really keen on eating human.
Fair enough. That's a good point. Yeah, anything else you guys want to do in this room? You want to proceed forward afterwards or head back downstairs? Whatever you guys want to do. Let me know.
So I think there's a doorway in the upper right-hand corner of this room.
Correct.
I would like to see what's behind that door.
Yeah, absolutely. You walk up to the door. It's another just fairly simple one. Are you going to open it? There's no sort of like keyhole or anything like that that you could peek through.
Yes, I would like to go and open the door.
All right. The rest of the companions just going about their business, or are you rallying the troops and going forward?
I would think they would kind of catch wind of what's happening if I'm advancing.
Absolutely.
They just
going right behind him.
Okay, so regular formation, then Nigel in the taking up the middle.
Nigel sandwich formation.
Nigel sandwich formation. You got it. Alrighty.
Protect the wizard.
You proceed forward. Go ahead and put up the image 5. You see what can only be described as a very unkept library. There are books piling up around the center of the room, open, closed, sort of just strewn about everywhere. There are tables that line the room as well, with various other books and writing implements too. There's sort of this old kind of dusty carpet in the center that looks like it's supposed to kind of class up the room a bit, and the tiles are noticeably different. They're a lot fancier. There's only one person in the room, an orc that's sitting in the chair in the center. It's kind of an ornate chair that's been it certainly looks out of place. From what you can tell, it looks like it may be elven in make. And it clashes horribly with the carpet that is certainly of gnomish design. The orc that's in the center has his legs crossed slightly, and he's reading a book. He has a broken sort of like bottle glass as a monocle, and there's a chain that's going down. He has like a fanciful suit on, but again, the colors and the styles clash. He's wearing a different set of pants that weren't intended for the waistcoat that he has. He's sort of toying at a fob of like a broken pocket watch in his other hand as he reads. Nigel, give me an intelligence check.
All right, so let's let that big brain go. 8 plus 5, so 13.
Absolutely. You notice this orc. He stands out to you, and after a bit of searching in your mind palace, you realize you actually recognize who this is. Behind the book, which he's holding upside down, you realize that this is none other than the orcish scholar, Orchistopheles. And I think that's a pretty good spot to take a break, and we'll come back to it and find out what he's got in store for you guys.
The quest for Orchistopheles.
Have I typed that name correctly? Putting it in Discord. Got to get the spelling correct on that one.
That's perfect.
That's it?
That is
okay.
just perfect. Orchistopheles.
Okay, oh my gosh. Hot damn. Awesome.
All right, and we will be back with Wayfarers after this brief intermission. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Wayfarers episode 19. And the team just went toe-to-trotters with an evil chef who was cooking up people and even his own brother and almost got caught. They've advanced into the library, which has a terrible outline of fashion and colors and that kind of thing. But there's a very wise orc with a monocle and a book, and the team is about to meet him.
Welcome back. We are indeed in the library of the famed Orchistopheles. Nigel, you recognize him after just moments. You have read his works before. He has done several books on the philosophy and cultures of orcs and has done quite a bit for orcish-human relations to try to mend the bridges between the savage orcs of the south and the more civilized cultures of the world. And there he is, sitting in the center of the room. If you want to put up again, it's a D&D image 5. It's sort of his own personal library. He'll look up at you guys. Again, he puts his book down slightly. Well, my word! What have we here? Who are you three?
Oh my. It couldn't possibly be. Are you... or... Orchistopheles?
Ah, I see an admirer. An intelligent, wise and cultured man. Why, yes, I do say that is me.
I've read all of your work. I must confess, I barely could have believed that, such excellent works came out. I wasn't sure of how much was truth or fantasy about your personage, but you seem to truly live up to the image I had in my mind after reading your books.
Well, my word. It is always nice to meet a fan.
Yes.
What are you doing here, though? This seems a bit off the beaten path, if I say so myself.
Yes, absolutely. My name is Nigel, and this here is Mendax and Carl, my comrades. We've actually come here specifically here to seek a certain treasure. Some would say. For others, a meaningless item not worth much, but to us, it is the potential aid to cure, or at least seek answers, to a large mystery that has very much dictated our lives in recent months.
Well, my word. You must be seeking the key of many doors.
Absolutely. I should have known that you would know what we sought. We heard that it was taken, some would say, from the Dwarven King, and we are hoping to procure it back so we can use it to travel far across the land. We need to make our way back to the Lonely Spire, where my Master Nivix resides, and it would take us many, many months. But we must get there with much haste.
The Lonely Spire, you say? You are an apprentice of Master Nivix? Is this true?
Absolutely. He was like a father to me. A distant and not particularly loving father, but one who taught me everything I know about magic.
Well, my word. Well, I have had several conversations, of course, with Master Nivix. We have talked at great length about the relationship between the southern band brutish bully gang, as the orcs call themselves in that neck of the woods, and the local villagers that live among the outskirts there. Good chap, right fellow indeed. I suppose you know the next room over, where that is where you'll find your key.
Oh, and you were happy for us to take it? I'm sure it must mean something for you to have procured it. You must have gone to quite some lengths.
Me? I procured no such thing. I am here simply on a research mission, you see. I don't throw my hat in the ring with this lot, if you will. A bit too hardcore, if you will. I'm simply doing research on my next book.
Oh, I absolutely understand where you're coming from. After Nivik sent me out into the world, I mean, it's pretty much nonstop butchery and bloodshed. I mean, I'm much more comfortable in a library than I am out here adventuring and amongst all these brutish warriors, not just orcs, dwarves, humans, the lot of them. Everybody seems to be so bloodthirsty these days.
Yes, indeed, and no more bloodthirsty a lot than these metallized orcs you find here in this tower, I assure you. They are quite a brutish gang. And he'll pull out like a handkerchief, again, that doesn't match with any of his clothes, and he kind of wipes the monocle. You can see it's like a glass bottle, and it's actually like embedded in his face.
Speaking of metallized orcs, actually quite fascinating, the physiology. How did this come to be? And does it serve a particular purpose, or is it simply ornamentation and jewelry for cultural status?
An inquisitive young mind. I like that about you. Nigel, you said your name was?
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, you'll see. The orcs of this region for quite a number of generations have been ritualistically replacing body parts, skin, with pieces of metal that they find. They believe that there's power in the earth and the ore, and they think that if they absorb that or sort of replace parts of themselves with it, it'll cause them to be stronger. And they take these metals from different parts of the world, seemingly absorbing the strength. Similar in somewhat to the northern tribes, which cannibalize their opponents. Specifically, ritualistically, they eat the heart. If you recall, they believe that gives the power over their enemies as well.
Oh, yeah. So, a cultural phenomenon. I have noticed there is some rather useful buying products. Sometimes it does come across as a sort of inbuilt armor, but for the most part, I can definitely see that it is. Pardon me if I'm disrespectful to these orcs, but mostly it does seem to be that effect more of a psychological nature than anything else. Simply a placebo, one might say.
Yes, well, I would say I agree with you. I am a man of science. I cannot see any true particular reason or value, but I will say the psychological factor it imposes upon their enemies is quite immense, my word indeed.
May I interject, Sir Orkstradams, or what have you? What is your book about?
Yes, Orchestopheles, please, sir.
Excuse me, Orchestopheles. I'm not as cultured as Nigel.
Dr. Orchestopheles.
Mr. Dr. Orchestopheles, thank you.
Yes, what can I do for you?
I was just curious about the topic of your new book.
Yes, what questions?
What is the topic?
Yes, it is another volume of trying to further bridge the gap, you'll see, between the brutal orcish clans and their counterparts of more civilized culture. What holds them back? Is it cultural? Is it within the DNA? I don't know, and I seek to discover it. My word.
Well, best of luck in your pursuits.
Oh, thank you, good bird. I see you're trying to say stuff, Mendex, but I can't hear you, so I don't know.
Speaking of discovering things, do you, good doctor, have any idea what we might discover on the other side of this door if we were to go through?
Well, I would assume you've had some run-ins with some of the ruffians of this tower already.
Perhaps one or two, or maybe up to 10?
Oh, my word.
Not all
yes,
us.
You will
There was an elemental.
encounter their leader in the next room.
And what kind of an orc might he be? Do you know of any particular, I don't know, mental or physical weaknesses he might have? Is he open to negotiations? Does he hop very well on one leg? Things of that nature.
Well, I can tell you he's not much for conversation. The interviews I have had with him have ended quite brashly at times, to be very honest. He is somewhat of a crass fellow, a bit rude for my take, but that is the way of many orcs. Yeah, besides that, he enjoys a good roast. He is a sturdy orc.
And when you say sturdy, well, by some of these orc standards, some of the bruises especially have been rather large. And from what I've read in your books, as well as other studies of the orcish cultures and people, usually it is rather large fellows that do rise to prominence. What's the name? And I mean, are we thinking 9 feet, 10 feet tall, perhaps? 200 pounds?
No, not quite. A very astute assumption there, young Nightfall. But in this case, power does not always come from size in the orcish culture. You might make that assumption to begin with, but Krasbag the Horrible is quite small for orcish stature.
Oh my! How did he come to power? Is he particularly devious, or did he? I'm not sure how it is actually with these orcs here in the Dark Tower. Are there challenges for rulership and single combat, as is often the norm?
Yes, of course. You may challenge the leader of any orcish clan to a fight, so long as you have the correct bloodlines and so forth, yes. But Kragbag the Horrible rose to his fame through his unique and gifted talents of sorcery, magic, if you will.
Oh my, a particularly rare gift, especially out here in these lands. Very rare, especially amongst the orcish folks. Do you know what sort of magics he specializes in?
It's funny you mention I haven't gotten around to ask him.
Oh my. Sounds like quite the opponent. Tell me, what is his interest in the key?
Well, I mean, a man of intelligence could see its usefulness. Surely, Nigel.
Wouldn't one need access to the dwarven artifacts, though, in order to make use of the key?
I see you're not quite versed of the ways of this key. Well, let me tell you. You see, this key, any door with a lock, you simply insert the key, turn it, and you may go out any other door in the world.
Oh my, I had no idea that it was such an artifact. We only heard of this recently, and I'd never read of it before, but why, that sounds like it is of immense value and power. The possibilities seem endless. Raiding, thievery, simply convenient travel across continents. Wow.
Yes, I would very much like that. I would never be late for my dry cleaning ever again. Little joke.
Well, unfortunately, in the wrong hands, it could also be rather devastating. I mean, if you think about it, someone had a certain bloody-mindedness about them. What would stop them popping into the middle of defenseless villages and townships in the middle of night to steal away children and women defenseless in their sleep? I mean, untold bloodshed could be carried out, and not just that, but the reputation of the orcs in general, the cultures who you have done such good work to outline that they have so much value, and there is actually more common ground between the other humanoid races and them than we had previously realized. I mean, a lot of that could be undone if Kragbag is able to simply raid mercilessly all around the lands with this artifact.
A very fair point you make, Nigel. Indeed, yes. Quite a devastating artifact to have in another one's hands. Certainly, it opens up immense power to the wielder. Unfortunately, I am bound by my non-interference pact. I am simply here to observe. I cannot trample upon the orcs nor their goals. That is for others to decide. That is for them to decide. I would not be able to further the relations, to study these specimens, if you will, without such a pact being made here. Yes.
Mr.
In the back.
Orchestrophiles,
Yes.
I was wondering if you are versed in any of the healing forms of magics.
Oh, well, yes, I do know a spell or two. I have read the clerical domains and how to find them.
Well, I have 3 cracked ribs and I've lost a good bit of blood.
Oh, yes.
Could I perhaps pay you some gold and get charged up?
Gold. My young lad, I have no need of such a ordinary mundane substance. I suppose I may be able to lend my skills. You all seem like such a nice crew of fellows here. I would be remiss not lending myself. But I tell you, I fancy myself a bit of a sophisticated, intelligent sort. Yes, we could play a game, perhaps, and if I win, well, maybe I will peruse if you have any unique or interesting items, and take them along my way for travels. If you are permissible with this, or if you win, I shall impart some healing upon you.
And next, Nigel, what do you think?
I definitely do with some healing.
Absolutely, and I have the utmost respect for Orchestrophiles' neutrality, and I understand that you could not continue your work without it. We would do nothing to put that at risk. And of course, simply lending aid to another group of travelers, something which, of course, would not step in the way of that at all. So we would be much in your debt if you were able to heal us.
Oh, yes, I could certainly do such. A game then? Yeah, pull up close now. We will partake in the battle of wits.
Very good. What is this game?
I will ask you riddles. I enjoy riddles. And if you can solve them amongst you 3, I will heal you. 1 riddle per person.
That's fair. That's more than fair.
Yes. It has been a very long time since I could play these fun games. You see, the average intelligence of the tower, while I bring it up significantly, it is still quite low. So I am more than happy to engage in this fun activity for once. Take a bit of a break, give my eyes a bit of a rest. Are you ready?
Yes.
Really.
Okay, we shall start it out quite simply then. It dampens as it dries.
I'm going to look at Nigel expectantly.
And are we all allowed to help each other on this one, or is it simply one for each? It dampens as it dries.
I think the 3 of your combined intelligence versus my vast mind should be fair enough.
How very kind of you.
Be a sponge?
No, I don't think a sponge.
It would dampen what's beneath it as it dries, but I don't know. It dampens.
We'll need a definitive answer. 1 guess per riddle. I think that's fair.
Okay, so it dries. It doesn't necessarily have to dry itself, though.
I'll repeat the riddle once more. It dampens as it dries. This is a good one.
I was always one who struggled with riddles, always bending down the wrong curves in the maze sometimes. It dampens as it dries. I mean, one thinks about rainfall and perspiration, but it growing too heavy and then falling from the sky is not so much it drying as anything else. So I'm thinking more along your lines, Mendax, a sponge or something like this, that it dampens things even as it dries out. But that's fascinating. What is something that dries out and then creates moisture at the same time? Surely simply not fire. It dries things up. It doesn't seem to dampen.
I stumped you.
It may take us a few minutes to figure this one out,
What
if
if
we are even capable.
Works in reverse, meaning if you were to take a dry sponge and put it onto something wet, the sponge would become moist while the surface became dry. So it would dampen as it dries.
Oh, you mean like this? And I'll hold up one of my old rags that I commandeered.
Exactly like that.
Is that your answer? I will need a definitive yes or no.
It was a nice rag. I got it when we were in the armory.
Probably not that one exactly, but something along those lines.
Well, in effect, all water does dampen as it dries. I mean, the whole moisture cycle on our Earth, of course, simply is it drying from one area, it is simply transferring. Whether from a gaseous state to a liquid, there is always a transfer of the same hydrogen, the liquid water. Sometimes it becomes a gas light enough to float in the air. And when it collects enough, it gains enough density to then fall upon the earth again. So it dampens as it dries. I mean, all moisture and rain in general is this. But I am always one at a loss when it comes to locking in an answer to riddles. Well, Orchistopheles, would you be so kind? Would it be a stretch of the rules to perhaps give us a hint?
A hint, you say? Give me a persuasion check.
All right. That's an 8, and persuasion +2, 10.
Well, we wouldn't want to spoil the game now, Nigel. You don't know that this one is you'd want to use any sort of hints for. I will say, don't overthink it. The solution for riddles is such, it's always so clear in front of our face. Yet we try as hard as we can to look every which direction yet forward.
Master Nivix always said the same thing. Every time he gave me a riddle, he said my head was always in the clouds, and I was overthinking it every single time. I think Mendax and Carl, your instincts are probably better than mine on this one.
I'm not sure if this is a compliment or not.
In this case, it most certainly is.
I would take it as one.
I'll shelve it for later. But okay, we're on the road of sponge or rag or something of that nature.
I'll need a word. Give me a word. What is your answer? In one word.
What is something like... Because rags don't necessarily just do that. And sponges... I mean, I guess technically a sponge does necessarily do that. But what else specifically does that? Because a rag you also use to clean. So I don't think it would fit both.
Yes, well, I mean, to dry something up, yes, you would use a towel. To dampen something, you would use more of a sponge. You wet the sponge to dampen, whereas a towel you would then use to dry up afterwards, or beforehand.
You could use a towel for both.
I mean, you technically could, but towels are mostly... I think Nigel is right. The sponge is mostly for the dampening, and the towel is mostly for the drying, but there has to be damp before the dry.
You're overthinking it, I think. He just said don't overthink it, and now we're trying to debate what is a towel. What is a towel?
So do we go with sponge, rag, or towel? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, if he's gonna fuck us on the technicality of a rag versus a towel, I don't really like him.
You know, I've just realized an adventurer's guide to the world always told me, I read this many times as a child, it said most important thing to bring on an adventure is a towel, and I don't even have one in my pack this entire time. Think about the number of times I could have dried up blood with it, I could have helped clean wounds, we could have used it to dry off after getting rained on. I'm such an idiot.
I have 2 old rags. Do you want one of them?
Yes, please.
Okay. Orchestophiles, let's go with rag. Final answer.
I dare say that is correct, my word. You almost tried to bungle that one up now, didn't you? Rag, sponge, towel. It all dampens as it dries.
Don't forget, I almost locked in perspiration before, or moisture as a general concept as well. So
Yes,
I went well beyond overthinking, I think.
Such is the way of intellectuals at times, Nigel. You know, we like to look beyond sometimes what is just right in front of us. Who shall receive the healing from this one?
I'm at 22 of 48.
I think Carl is our most powerful warrior. I do believe. Mendax, I mean, how are you feeling? I believe you're still needing of aid, but I think Carl is probably the one who's most urgent.
Definitely most urgent. Let's give it to him first.
Yes, come here, lad, and we get a good look at you and heal your wounds. And he'll kind of like, you know, bring you a bit closer. He'll grab the sides of your head, and he'll look over your wounds, and he'll chant a few words under his breath that Nigel, you can't hear. Call, they don't really make any sense to you. And he'll headbutt you in the face, and he'll kind of like hit it right over the bridge of your eyes. And after a momentary kind of distortion of the world, you're healed back to full.
Oh! Good morning.
Yes, I do believe that should work.
I feel amazing. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Good job on that ritual. Now, shall we move on? I dare say I haven't had this much fun in quite a while.
Let's go. What's riddle number 2?
Yes. We'll see if you can get this one a touch harder, if you will. Feed me and I will live, but give me a drink and I will die. I will. Let's see if you can get this one.
I think it's fire. If you feed a fire, it grows. If you pour water on a fire, it dies.
I like it.
I think your instincts are on the money with this one.
Your answer?
Fire.
I'm going to go with fire.
Final answer.
Correct again. It seems you have caught on to the trend of these riddles. I might have to make this last one quite a doozy. Well, very well done, my word. You arrived at the answer much faster than this, I dare say, young lady. Your instincts for riddles are quite good. Are you learned in the riddle tomes?
No, I'm much better with limericks.
My word, a natural. Who shall be healed?
The lady, of course.
Yes, my dear. Come to me, and we shall take care of your wounds.
You mean me? Oh, sorry, Nigel, you said lady. Threw me off for a moment.
Okay.
Here in polite society, you know, we must follow the norms.
He'll kind of do a similar inspection, kind of seeing where you're wounded, sees where you're. Don't shy away. Come close. Don't bite. And he'll kind of pull you, almost like a like your grandma, like, come here, let me give you a kiss. And so kind of pulls you in a bit more forcefully. And he chants a few words under his breath again, and he punches you square in the face with his left arm. It doesn't hurt. You're kind of just dazed again, and your world is sort of swirling for a second, but your wounds heal up, and you feel fine. Yes, I should do. My word.
It's
You're
a
quite
truly
welcome.
fascinating technique you have there. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Yes, well, some wizards use a wand, some use a staff, others use orbs. But I tell you, orcish wizards are much more physical. Are you ready for the last one?
Bring
And
it.
I
Yes.
dare say, if you get this right, I shall have to applaud.
We eagerly await the challenge.
All right. Well, this last one is quite a doozy. Let's see if you're able to get it as quickly as the second one. What has a neck but no head?
Don't you have necks in rivers? Necks and bends in rivers.
You could also have the neck of a musical instrument.
That's true.
Do
A guitar-
worms have heads?
Yes.
I see you have not read Earthworms and Where They Might Be.
Oh no, I believe that
Tut,
one
tut.
may have been conspicuously absent from Master Nivik's collection. Or maybe it was in the restricted section where he wouldn't let me read. I'm not sure.
Yes, a classic read. A classic read. I must insist once you are finished. I believe I have a tome across the way. You may borrow it.
Oh, thank you so much. So there is a river head, I believe, right? That is a term?
Yes.
The mouth of a river.
The mouth of a river,
No, there is
yes.
the head
Maybe
of
not
a
the
river.
head. There is?
I've heard that, I think.
But you mentioned an instrument. Hmm.
Yes, say a violin or something. A guitar, even. You could call it the neck.
What would the top of it be called? The part where you have all the tuning knobs.
Well, it's not called the head, as far as I know. It doesn't have a face, in any case.
I mean, I think that's it. It's a good guess.
If you have other guesses, I don't want to get us.
No,
cornered
we
in
should
on
just
one.
throw all the guesses we have out there. And we can pass through them.
My word, I think I may have stumped them on this one.
You said it's got a neck but no head, right?
What has a
Yes.
neck but no head? Yes.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Oh, what about the woods? The neck of the woods. But the woods don't have a head.
That's true.
But-
In your neck of the woods.
It's truly neck level. Not sure how you thought of that.
What will you think of neck?
I say, are we doing puns now? My word.
Hmm.
If only we could connect the dots to figure this out.
Ah, shame we don't have an option to go for the neck question.
Oh man, he did it again.
Your clever wit will not save you from this one. An answer. Any guesses?
Ah.
I like the woods, it's clever and it's not wrong. I don't know about a specific instrument, if we would need to give that as an answer, because not every instrument does have a neck.
It is true.
Well, the You are correct. There's definitely no head to a woods. I think, even if it was not what our wise Orstophiles had in mind, I think it is definitely correct. I think we should lock it in.
I don't know that we're going to come up with something better, so.
Your answer?
The woods. The woods has a neck, but no head.
A common guess amongst humans and civilized folk, but you see, I pulled a bit of a sneaky quick one. This is a orcish riddle, the answer to which clear and obvious to any orc. Anything once you cut its head off. Good try.
I'm not even kidding. I swear I thought of a decapitation at one point, but that doesn't count. That's not fair.
It was a very valiant attempt. I do say I feel a little bad for tricking you as such. Come, Nigel. I will heal you. I will heal you nonetheless. This has been quite a raving time.
Oh, Orstophiles, you're far too kind. Thank you so much for your generosity. And I'm a little bit tense, and I'm kind of hand over my face, a little bit worried right now.
Yes. Come, boy. Take your glasses off, though, yes. Perfect. Yes. Let's get a good look at you. And he'll kind of grab your face and, like, move it to and fro. And, okay. And he'll sort of wind back like he's going to punch you in the face like he did with Mendax. But then he'll actually kick you in the stomach with his foot after chanting a little bit under his breath. A similar kind of sensation of the world is spinning around you. And when you come to, your wounds are magically healed. They've closed up and you feel great. My word.
Oh, my. Wow. It's very odd technique, but remarkably... Wow, I feel great. Remarkably effective.
Indeed. Well, this has been quite fun. I had a great time.
Well, thank you so much for your generosity. Do you know, Orstophiles, if Cragbag has many henchmen with him usually, or is he normally alone in the next room?
Sometimes he has people doing errands for him. Sometimes he is alone, studying and raving over that infernal key. I don't know. Can't say I pay attention very much. Usually I have my head in a book. Now,
No.
If you don't mind, I might go back to my reading. But it has been quite a lot of fun. Do come back sometime.
Well, if we survive to tell the tale, I am sure we will come back and visit you. Thank you very much for your aid, the mental stimulation, and of course, these interesting facts about these metallized orcs. I really do hope I can talk to you even more about the local culture, the idioms, and all sorts of different things. I'd love to understand these people more.
Spoon away. It's showing.
My word. Well, I do hope our paths cross once more indeed, and give my best regards to Master Nivix. Tell him Orstophiles says, hello, how do you do?
Thank you for your mighty healing, good doctor.
Yes, of course. Now, I will get back to my book. Thank you all very much for the fun. I enjoyed myself quite a bit. And he'll open his book back up. Again, it's upside down. And he kind of is going to just muse to himself as he's reading and kind of following the words with his finger.
I like him.
To the top right corner of the room, you see a stairway that goes up.
Should we look through this room very quick, just really quickly, see if there's anything we can find before going to face Cragbag the Horrible, the orc sorcerer?
He did just heal us kindly, and I believe most of these books are his belongings. I'm not sure there's anything of value we'll find, and I don't really want to overstay our welcome.
Fair enough.
Well, there would be a lot of good reading about orc culture here, I'm sure.
I know, we know how much you love orc culture, Nigel. Like,
and
really. really love it.
It's a fascinating topic, and I'd love to read about it. I just don't want you pickpocketing my new friend while we're having a good discussion. I know what you get up to.
Okay, first of all, still has his pants, does he not? Didn't even touch them. Second of all, I just said look around. Okay, I didn't say I was going to pickpocket him. I mean, he punched me in the face, but it was actually the best punch to the face I've ever had.
Better than those shitty bar fight punches in the face you often get. You say just look around, but I know what that's code for in Mendax, okay?
Well, what if there's like a little bit of paper, a parchment that has a little spell on it that you could learn?
I mean, I suppose that would be kind of useful, but let's just ask first. Augustopheles, do you mind if we look around and read some of these papers? Would it be intruding if we stayed for a few more minutes?
Well, I mean, you're welcome to rest, but I must insist those papers are my personal notes. To books that have not yet been released, you'll have to wait, like the rest of the public, to see those musings, if you will.
Well, no worries. We'll stay out of your hair then.
Yes, but don't forget your book now. It is just across the way, second shelf on the right, Earthworms and Where They Might Be. I must insist. Fascinating read, Nigel.
Ooh,
you will
yes,
not
thank you
regret
so
it.
much.
Yes.
I will head over and grab that.
I would like to whisper to Nigel, is it one page that just says the dirt?
I'm sure there's much more to it than that. It's typical, of course, for those who aren't as learned to think everything in this world is as simple, but we don't learn so much about the world without putting in their study. And even the smallest and dirtiest and grubbiest of things, sometimes there's more to it than we could even imagine.
So you're going to find earthworms, someplace you can very rarely imagine, versus the earth.
I'm going to learn to understand their properties, and who knows, maybe I'll make a potion of earthworminess, and it'll give us great wriggliness and the ability to tunnel into the earth and escape danger. I don't know, but you never know where knowledge will lead you.
I'm sure there's other potions you can take.
He is a very clever orc. There may be something to it.
Nigel, you go to the shelf and you it's all alphabetized. You go to find the book, and as you come upon it, Orchestopheles shouts behind you, "You may take all the volumes, please. I insist." There's six books there of Earthworms and Where They Might Be, volumes 1 through 6.
How very kind of you, Orchestopheles. I will start to load them all into my pack.
Yes. Okay, you have volumes 1 through 6 of Earthworms and Where They Might Be. And he said he prefers it if you guys don't look through his notes. You can do with that information as you choose. What would you like to do now? He's over there hanging out, reading his book.
I think we'll all be moving on now, yes?
Indeed. I'm feeling fresh and raring to go.
Let's
all right.
go.
Nigel, sandwich formation as we move up the stairs?
Yeah, so sorry, was I healed to maximum? Or...
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a question. If I imbibe a strength potion, would that last through us going into the room, having a conversation, and then fighting, or should that be used more in the moment?
It depends. I mean, it will last for 1 minute. Typically, conversation back and forth is about 5 seconds per person or so. And a round of combat is 5 seconds.
Okay.
Now, the last time we went through a doorway, or Carl went through a doorway first, we did say that we wish we had made him invisible.
He doesn't have any spells left, no?
I'm a little dry. I honestly swear, usually by this deep in a dungeon, I've still got 1 or 2 left in me, but just today I'm a little tired. Sorry.
Where this never happens. Understood. You got really excited seeing Orchestopheles, so I imagine.
He did also expend energy activating goop as well.
I do have I have that powder of invisibility. I don't know how many of us it will cover, and the door is going to open regardless.
But even if one of us snuck in, would we be able to steal it and get out? I'm thinking we'll probably have to fight anyway, no?
I mean, he is a sorcerer, so he could still be able to tell when one of us is invisible. It may not be useful at all.
Yes. I mean, he knew when, wasn't it Carl who went in with you invisible, and he saw right through the Thieves Guild chief. So I imagine an orcish sorcerer, definitely someone we can't rely on it. I think best option is probably simply to get in there hard and fast, strike as quickly as we can, and hopefully we can best him in combat. I think we might be out of tricks.
Now you're speaking my language.
Actually, as I say that, Carl, no offense, it's not because you agreed with me. I really respect your approach to combat. Straight on front, challenging, brave. I can still make some illusions and things, so there is the option of creaking the door, Mendax perhaps peeking in, and if there are guards, we could try to pull them away, distract them. But I think if it's just the chieftain on his own, I think we go straight for him.
I think that's fair. Do you think Orchistopheles would have told us if there were guards?
He said sometimes there's henchmen in there, or people he's discussing with, or arguing, or fighting, or whatever the rest. But sometimes he's up there brooding on his own. So he said he didn't really know.
Fair enough.
All right. So you guys approach the staircase. Are you set with what you're going to do?
I think Mendax wants to peek.
Take a bit of a peek.
Okay. So you guys move up the staircase. It takes you probably a couple minutes of walking in order to reach the top. It's just the spire staircase once again. It looks like it's going to almost like a tower on the top of the like a holdout, if you will. You can tell you're very high up. You can see again there are small like little slats of windows. You are near the top of the dark tower. You're quite a bit of ways above the lava ocean that's underneath. And you see actually out in the distance, there are some ships returning from that same passage that they were kind of exiting from before. And as you proceed up the stairs, you reach the final doorway to the Dark Tower. It's a mishmash of other doors. It looks like it's been broken and nailed back together, made out of various different types of material, wood, metal. It's all sort of like a mishmash that's been patched back together of this door. And you hear rumbling and shouting on the other side. You reach to open it and peek in slightly. And I think that's where we'll go ahead and end it for today and pick it up next week. 2 weeks from now, as you guys face off against Cragbag the Horrible. The final level and floor to the Dark Tower.
Oh man, I'm excited to get in there. Roll some more natural ones, you know how I do it.
You just have to roll dice all throughout the day. You were rolling, woof, man, that was tough. I'm like, I'm about to kill him. He's gonna die.
I honestly thought he was going to get cooked in that pot when he was being carried over to the cauldron. I was like, Carl's gonna get cooked in the pot. He has the necklace. We literally cannot go up to save him or do anything after that, so we're gonna have to go back down the tower and walk to Master Nivik.
I was already mentally and emotionally prepared to lose my scythe when I rolled one of those ones. I was like, there's lava nearby. I have a weapon. That's
It's gone. It's just out. Oh, that would be so cruel, dude. I don't know that I would do that again so soon.
That would be truly harsh. Truly harsh.
A little bit of a different combat system. A couple of puzzles and fun things there at the end as you got to meet one of my favorite NPCs so far, Orchistopheles.
He's amazing.
You guys
my
enjoyed
word.
it as much as I did. My word.
Was he a viewer request or did you make him?
Nah, I just made him up.
Very
I
good.
like it.
Orchistopheles, man. And I just love as well because like he has a book that's upside down, and I'm like, oh, so he can't actually read. And I'm like, oh no, I've read his books. He's really smart, but he's still reading books upside down. I'm like, there's layers to this riddle. Very
An
confused.
interesting character.
Well, excellent work, everyone. We've made our way through quite a few fights and predicaments through this dark tower, and at least we know where the key resides.
Each time, I think, we're done through a pretty hard fight, and, next minute, it escalates.
Oh my god.
Our answer was pretty good, but that was a clever retort. Orchestrophiles, he's a clever orc.
He's very wise, despite his looks. Can't underestimate Orchestrophiles.
Well, most excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in once again to Wayfarers episode 19. Episode 20 will be in 2 weeks, Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Remember to bring a smile and find out how we can bungle the next battle.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I'll see you guys then.
I'm gonna just do this. Hang on. And then this. Perfect.
Your face.